was waiting to come back to the final table.
Fedor holds things. Oh my God.
Michael Adamo is the best. Well, Roddy, I think there's a chance we're live, Roddy. There's a chance.
There is a chance that we are live, but... All right, apparently we are live, guys. So we did play our brand new intro, and hopefully it was beautiful. Hopefully you guys loved it. I saw it before, and I thought they did an amazing job. Welcome to the pre-show of the High Roller Super Millions, week 35. Last week, Nanonoko was a pretty epic one. I mean, Ben CB winning it in front of his legion of fans. Not sure if we can top that today, but we're going to try.
We are going to try, and King 6 suited is the hand that did it for Ben CB. Not for the final hand. It was like when there was 5 people left, right? He shoved it all in, and he sucked out against Kings and 2 10s. Oh my God, I can relive that moment every single day. But we got a new one today. One of your favorite players at the very bottom, Roddy. A guy you put a lot of money on, but have not succeeded yet.
And a guy who also eliminated me. The one time I decided to play a 1K turbo. Of course, it had to be him. Of course, he's back. Again, he is, in Germany, they would say the Rekordmeister when it comes to making final tables. But we can take a look at the 9 players that have made it to this week's final table. I gotta say, after watching Ben CB's VOD last week, Ben CB takes everything we say very serious, Nanonoko. When I said he should have played the 4s because he would have made quads, he's like, that's a fold, by the way. I was like, I know, man. I know. I did it. I was like, it's just a meme. Like, we believe in pocket 4s over here. Anyway, let's take a look, guys, at this final table lineup that we have in store for you guys. Final table betting is still open for 7 minutes, and that is what we will be talking about for the next 7 minutes. Here we go. This is our lineup for this week. A lot of familiar faces, 1 previous champion, and only 2 guys that have never made it to a final table before. Those 2 guys are at the bottom, Oscar Brown and Donals. This is their first time. Everybody else we have spoken about at least once, and some of these guys many, many times, Nanonoko.
Yeah, and I believe there's something special going on with Dan Oss, Roddy. Maybe you let those guys know real quick. Maybe they can get the little extra final table boost.
I believe that you'll get a 10% boost up to $50 because he is officially the pick of the week. Every single week they make little articles about our final table lineup, and they decide like who is the sleeper pick, who's the underdog, and then they always settle for 1 pick of the week. And I gotta say, they have been pretty good because the week that Via Condias won, which is 3 or 4 weeks ago, they did actually pick him as pick of the week. And I was like, what? Via Condias, the only guy we didn't know anything about compared to all these crushes, and he came in with no chips. But back then he won it. It was like 46-1. It's not that crazy for Donals because he is a familiar face to the high roller circuit. We know that he is capable of crushing fields like this, but this is a very stacked final table lineup. Nanonoko, the people have 6 minutes to get some bets in. If you look at these odds, you look at these names, who should the people put their money on?
Well, you know what? This is actually a really interesting lineup because if you look at it, right, and you look at the chip counts, usually you see the chip leader at the number 1 spot, the short stack at the very bottom, right? But the lines have moved. I believe I looked at the final table betting once it was released, and Niklas Astedt was lower, but more people have put money on him. He's actually the short stack of the tournament. But we're going to put him right at the middle, right? Like we're giving him 13-1. So that means that if you were into final table betting, always get into that lobby right away to try to get the best odds if you're interested. Because I guess the lines move based on more money being bet on someone, right? But something you want to look at is the chip leader, Ramashka, is in third in terms of, so you're getting better value. This guy's got 5.2 million chips and 6.2 odds to win, right? Because we know Artur Martirosian, we know Nick Petrangelo, and those guys are big crushers who've done really well. They're the big names in the poker scene. But Ramashka is not. But he's get 2 million extra chips and he's 6.2 compared to the 4.5 and 4.6. So I think there is some value in here because he's an unknown player. And, you know, he was at our final table before. Sure, he was a little tight that time, but in this one, he's aggressive and, you know, he's got more chips. It's a different player practically.
You know what's amazing about Ramashka is that last time he was also really undervalued, right? Because he had over 3 million chips back then, and his odds were like the second or third lowest, so you could really make a lot of money on him. Back then, I couldn't help myself, put some money on him, and he didn't really deliver. He made a couple pay jumps. I'm sure that he was happy with his finish. I think it was the top 4-ish, maybe top 5, but that was kind of it. This time, once again, comes in with a lot of chips, but his story is funny. That's actually where I wanted to go, because he started playing $100 satellite, qualified for the $1,000 satellite, qualified for the main event, then busted, and he's like, damn it, we'll rebuy. Busted again, he's like, I'm still gonna rebuy because I've made final table of this, I'm gonna do it again. So even though he started off playing $100 satellites, in the end he was in for 3 bullets at the 10k. And I think that kind of stuff is fascinating to me, Nananoka. How somebody can go through the effort and process of playing for basically $100, trying to make it 1,000, trying to make it a 10k. And then you make it, and then you just fire away the moment it doesn't really go your way. But hey, it worked out, right? Because he's here again, his second final table. He comes in with a lot of chips. And let's not forget about David Jan. I feel last time, I at least was sleeping on him a little bit. You did let the people know that he is very good. And he was so damn close to winning a high roller Super Millions. I think he was the runner-up to Lucas, correct? Lucas Chiefs, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, if you look, I like to look at the bottom, right? Who are you getting the most value from? Are they a good bet? David Yan is the one that is going to highlight for me. Because, you know, he was a cash game player. All the cash game players do really well here on the 10K Super Millions. If you do want extra value, again, Oscar Brown is another guy we do not know much about. 2.2 million chips. This guy's got the same amount of chips as Justin Bonomo practically, right? But look at that. You're getting more than 2x the value of Justin Bonomo and odds to win. So this guy could potentially be a sleeper hit. We don't know anything about him, and you just win lots of money, right? Like, so you got to look at the odds to win as well as the chip counts, not just your favorite players. Like, so in this series here today, this tournament final table, there's a lot of extra value on these unknown players. And the unknown players is where you get that value. Even Faiso versus Justin Bonomo is crazy, right? It's 2 times the value, but he's only got 400,000 chips. Today, if I had the money, Roddy, I would bet on the unknown players. Despite these crushers being really good, it's almost too hard to pass up.
I think if I had the money, Nananoko, I would still go for Artur Martirosian. Because I've been on a heater. Once upon a time, he was the only guy to ever win it when I picked him to win it. And last week, actually, our production just let us know, they did pick Ben CB as pick of the week too. So it wasn't just the crazy pick of Via Condias. Last week, they also went for Ben CB. Once again, this week, guys, a little promotion. If you put some money on Donals, I think it will get a 10% boost, anything up to $50. He's all the way at the bottom, but he is no stranger to fields like this. I believe he's hailing from the Netherlands, actually. He's repping the Latvian flag here. Maybe he's currently living there. But that's cool to see as well. I feel like I haven't really had the opportunity to be very biased. I mean, you get the opportunity to talk about these cool Australian players each and every single week. I never get to talk about the Dutchies, even though the Dutch used to have a couple of very big names, and obviously we still do when it comes to streaming, because obviously Lex is crushing and stuff. But it's very cool to see an actual just high roller from the Netherlands participating in a field like this and making it all the way to the final table. 1 minute left. All right, Nananoko, $100 right now. You've got 40 seconds to spend it. Where do you spend it on?
Look, I'm gonna put 90% on Ramashka and 10% on Oscar Brown. Maybe I'll put 10% somewhere on Faiso as well. The value is just too good. I can't skip that.
All right, I think I would still just go for Artur, because I do believe picking one of the guys with a lot of chips makes a lot of sense. And Ramashka does it. Okay, maybe Ramashka is a bet just too good to pass up on. Like 5.2 million is insane. You can fold until you have aces or kings. All right, I actually don't think I can disagree with you. But then I would still go for Arthur too. Just select the 2 Russians. What can possibly go wrong? All right, guys, it is 7 p.m. in Central Europe, and that means final table betting is now officially closed. That also means that our pre-show has ended. So now it's time for the actual pre-show, where we're going to spend 30 minutes just to talk about these guys a little bit. Take a look at some of the hands they've had. Take a look at some of their previous scores in the High Roller Super Million. But first off, I'm going to have a little chat with Nanonoko, because this is the only time a week that I get to have a little chat with Nanonoko. I sent him a hand history once. Nanonoko said, never again, Rotterdam. I don't want to see this crap. It puts me on tilt. All right, so I'm going to take this moment to just ask, how are you doing, Nano? How was your week?
Doing great. Yeah, no, everything is great, Roddy. But I guess one of the things I want to mention, I just thought about, because I don't. Did we touch on it last time? Because I think the Daniel Negreanu challenge is now officially over. Is that right,
It is
Roddy?
officially over, but last week it was not officially over yet. Last week they were close to finishing it up because they had that epic long marathon session of like, I don't know, a couple thousand hands. I think they played for like 7 hours. And then they had, I believe, 2 more big sessions. And Doc Pog, very, very lucky, Nanonoko. I like this tweet about Tom Brady. I know lucky when I see it. Very lucky. Selects Tom Brady to win. Tom Brady does win. But no, it's indeed officially over. What did you want to say about it?
No, I just it was a great challenge. Yes, Doug Polk did come out on top, but I would love to see Daniel Negreanu challenge someone. I was saying, man, he should challenge Phil Galfond, and I feel like there's a chance that might happen. I thought I read a tweet that, you know, Galfond might be willing to play some Nolan to hold him, probably because he won all of his challenges, so he's loaded with free money, you know. So, but who knows? That'll be great. Besides that, anything else going on with you, Roddy? Have you been playing some more GG and like playing with your superstars out there?
Well, no, I have not tried any more, or I did not fire any more bullets in the one case. It was very cool to have Bruno Vogtman on my right and Arthur on my left, but you gotta know when to fold them, Nanonoko, and I think that's a little too much for me at the moment. I gotta say, I've had a very busy week overall with StarCraft, so I didn't have the opportunity to play that much. I did try to react my amazing run in the Beta Pros that we run every Saturday over at GG. Did not work out. I think I played 5 pots, lost 3 of them, and I was busto. So not a whole lot of success to brag about this week, but it keeps us humble and it keeps us eager to move forward. I always look forward to the Tuesday evening. It's fun. I did watch pretty much everything of the last 2 sessions of Daniel and Doc, by the way. And it was really cool because I don't know if you know, but Doc basically streamed the last session while showing his hole cards. And for someone who doesn't have a lot of heads-up experience, I thought that was really fun. And he was even memeing a little bit because they made funny videos about him. And then every single time he had like a set or he had the nut flush, he would like show this video of him dancing at the pool. I actually had a pretty good time watching it. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, that one is over. But like you said, Daniel's had nothing but fighting words. He's pretty eager to get back in the ring, maybe after a little holiday. And I'm sure that someone will step up to the plate and play Daniel. And hopefully they'll do it on GG. That's what Daniel said as well. He's like, it's the side. I don't want to say it's the side, but the side wasn't really working out. But I think it would be very cool. It would be a good promotion overall for GG. But the tables just look nice. We can see some nice emoji spam. Maybe even a snap cam here and there. I honestly think it'd be very fun.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. But I think it's time for this final table, Roddy, and it's a sick lineup. Send it.
Fully send it. All right, guys, let's take a look at the 9 players that have made it to the final table of week 35 already of the High Roller Super Million. First up, our chip leader, but third in final table betting odds. So the guys here, they don't believe him because they also really undervalued him a couple weeks ago when he also had a decent amount of chips. It is Ramashka. I already shared the story, guys. $100 satellite into $1,000 satellite into the main event, into busting twice with just firing bullets and still making it to the final table and coming in as chip leader. Honestly, pretty sick. He has played a lot of High Roller Super Millions, and at first, it's safe to say he was in the hole before he had that big score on January the 17th, where he did make over 200k. Well, Nanonoko, after today, he should very well be in a heavy plus. Well, he's probably already in the plus, unless he truly fires a lot of bullets. So yeah, that's cool to see. Being persistent pays off, apparently.
Yeah, Ramashka is a high roller. Sure, he played a $100 satellite to get into this, but he would have played it in regardless, like you said, doing multiple bullets. He just tried to get in a little cheaper, just $100, see what happens, and he got it done. Um, a lot of value here. It's an unknown player, high roller. The thing is, he comes in with 105 big blinds. Now, if you told me someone had more chips, but you weren't getting as much value as some of the other guys that were known, right? I'd be like, sure, it's not that big a deal. It's 10 big blind difference. But this guy has probably, I'm gonna guess, 40 big blinds or 35 big blinds more than the next guy, which is a lot, even if they're a big pro. It's hard to overcome such a big chip difference, right? Um, he was tighter the time he got fourth place, but this time he's got a big chip stack. People just play so much different when they're the chip leader. Like, I'm gonna run people over. They know how things go, and he's probably gonna splash a bit. And if he can go aggressive like that, he's gonna win free pots, and he's gonna be way into profit.
I mean, if I remember correctly, last time he was also indeed very tight in the beginning, like you mentioned. But then there was a moment where he went on a tiny bit of a heater. And then he all of a sudden did start playing way more pots and started getting a little bit out of line, threw in a couple bluffs in there. So I am curious to see if it's going to be guns blazing for Ramashka or if he's going to be a little bit chill. And maybe when the blinds go up, maybe then he will start putting his chips to use. But I don't think he's going to be one of those chip leaders that is like, hey, I'm the chip leader. I need to raise every single pot in the beginning. I don't think we're going to see that. But I can't wait to see Ramashka back. I'm excited for it. We can take a look at one of the hands that Ramashka had on his journey to his third final table already. And this is perhaps what Nananoka was talking about. When he has the chips, maybe he gets a little more aggressive. Maybe he's willing to just fire away a little bit more. Is Nananoko? This is some feisty turn and river aggression by Ramashka.
Yeah, well, Ramashka is just like, you know what? I've got way too many chips. Let me just use them. He flats in the small blind king deuce suited, and checks around. And he just took a shot at it because he's the chip leader on this 5 strat on turn into 2 players. Petrangelo calls and he bets again and gets Petrangelo to fold, most likely a pair. He's a dangerous player, right? He's a wild player when you give him chips, and he's definitely going to be putting moves today.
These are really tricky spots as well, though, right? Because small blind against big blind, it's a limp. Well, actually, no, it's upswinger who raised, but I mean, he tags along. And this is the kind of board where you're like, well, the chip leader, he could just play these kinds of combinations. It's pretty likely. I can understand that it's a bit hard for Nick Petrangelo to stick around. Well done by Ramashka. I am looking forward to him putting those 5 million chips to use tonight. Let's take a look at the man who's trailing him. We already mentioned him in this hand. He's back again, Nick Petrangelo. I feel like he's made a lot of final tables lately. December 20th, January 31st. And it feels like there was another one, but I guess they've just been talking about him maybe at some of the other shows. But, I mean, TLDR, Nick Petrangelo is crushing everything, now including the high roller super millions, as he comes in second in chips. Had maybe a rough start to this tournament series, Nananoko, but over the last 6 weeks, it's really working out for him.
Yep, you're definitely right about that. Before December 20th, he wasn't doing that well in the Super Millions, but he was a big crusher. He got a third, and this is his third final table. Now, I don't know. I'm a bit of a superstitious person, and I'm gonna say this guy's gonna get third again today, Roddy. That's what I'm calling out. So if I had money to bet on this final table, I would putting $0 on Nick Petrangelo. But I think he's a phenomenal player. He's a very strong one, of course. 74 big blinds, a lot to work with. Actually, every single time he's came to our final table, I'm pretty sure he's been a top 2 or 3 stack.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's a sign. Can he get it done, or is he going to be like the Niklas Astedt of third places?
Well, we'll speak about Niklas Astedt later, because we didn't do it a whole lot yet during our final table betting segment. And let's take a look at one of the hands that Mr. Nick Petrangelo had on his journey to just another final table. Last week after watching the Ben CB stream, Ben said if you win hands like the King 6 suited all in, then you're supposed to win the tournament, because that's what you said, and he heard you say it. He's like, that's right, Nananoka, then you're supposed to win it. These are the kind of pots that are also very, very important to win. I mean, it's all in on the flop, and it's a true 50-50, right? The ace jack of clubs against the nines. You just need to hit those.
Yeah, and looks like in this hand, what the difference was that he called a 3-bet the ace jack suited and got it in when he flopped the nut flush draw. He didn't just jam. A lot of times we just see him just, oh, ship it in pre-flop, but, you know, he kind of want to see what happened. And I think as played, the hand is pretty standard on both parts, and sometimes you just got to bink, but, you know, it's just a coin flip on the flop, and that's how he got 1.4 million chips at this time.
I do want to let you guys know that our first free roll of the evening is starting. We're giving away $5 $15 satellites to one of the tickets to one of the satellites of the GG Masters. Password is Rotterdam, capital R. So $5 $15 satellite tickets to the GG Masters event. Just head over to the free roll section. Password Rotterdam with a capital R. There you have it, Nanonoko. I am back to using timers. Otherwise, I never give proper shoutouts to the free rolls. So yeah. I mean, TLDR, this hand pretty straightforward. They're just very important to win it if you want to win tournaments, and this time Nick Petrangelo did. Looking forward to watching him tonight. Let's take a look at our next player. I would honestly say one of the biggest household names we have in the high roller super millions, man. Artur Martirosian is becoming a super standard phase at these final tables. Apparently, he has now cracked the $11 million of winnings over at GGPoker. I mean, Artur is just grinding, Nano, around the clock. If you take a look at a Sunday, there is no big tournament that does not include Artur Martirosian. He's everywhere. He has won the High Roller Super Millions before. He's had a couple of other monstrous scores. I mean, a second place on December 27th, a fourth place on December 6th. He has played all of them, by the way. This is the ultimate grinder. Is this man even human, Nanonoka? Can we check that?
Yeah, he's been around playing on GG for a while. He plays literally any tournament that runs on GG Network, right? As long as it's a high-stake tournament, he's not going to play the $10 beat the pros or whatever it is out there.
That's
you know,
a $210 event, Nanonoko. He plays those, by the way, sometimes, I think.
Yeah, Artur is your favorite. He's done really well. He's got a win. He's got a second place. He's got a fourth. I'm sure he's got a fifth, sixth, seventh almost. He's one of our biggest winners in the Super Millions. 1.245 million in total cashes. We've had 35 series so far. So, you know, say he's in for $500,000. He's up a lot of money. He's got 64.5 big blinds. If I was to guess, Roddy, you put some money on him today on final table betting?
Well, I took a break of the final table betting, Nanonoko, because obviously last week Ben CB did deliver, but all the other weeks it really didn't go that well. And there is a main reason why I did not put any money down today. And that reason will be shown if we take a look at one of the hands that Artur Martirosian played on his journey to his final table. Because we keep talking about that man on the top left side. When is he finally going to make a final table? Because it's not for a lack of trying. He has been trying. Victor Malinovsky, Limitless. He got so deep, Nano. I had both tables open on Sunday night, actually, for me. Down to the final 14 this was. I mean, you can see it. It was not even a full table anymore. And it really looked like we were going to have Limitless for the first time at our final table. But Artur Martirosian said no. I mean, this is a pretty sick hand this deep into the tournament. And I kind of like the way that Artur played it. Because there's a lot of leveling going on here, right? Like this high level stuff. Like newbies could play like, oh, he raises. Obviously, he raises. You just can't have aces. But obviously, Limitless never gives Artur credit for aces there. And Artur also kind of knows that. I mean, I love this hand. I didn't love the fact that we lost Limitless, but I do thought it was pretty cool.
Well, you did say you missed the hand history on how Limitless busted the tournament, right? Well, now you can see it. It's two aces into the ace-9 suit. He's drawing so slim. But like you said, it was a nice play. He just kind of, you got a bit of leveling here, right? He bets tiny on the flop with the set of aces. You know, he just jams the turn. And Limitless was like, you know, this is Artur Martirosian. I know he plays all the high stakes. I know he's capable of some bluffs. And he calls him down, drawing the dead on a turn. That's a pretty sick feeling. It's hard to do in this game. But he managed to up key on Limitless when final table betting comes. He busted, you insta-closed the lobby and was like, no final table betting for me today.
And you know what was extra funny is like while this was happening, I believe there were 14 players left in the tournament. And the player that was 14th with 4.5 big blinds was Niklas Astedt. And I was like, you know what? This week it's finally going to be Limitless making a final table. Niklas Astedt will fall short. It did not happen. This was his first bullet, by the way, because Limitless sometimes also kind of just fires away. I mean, we know that he plays the super high stakes cash game, so maybe a 10k buy-in. It's hard for him to really sit down there and just be ultra serious and grind it out for 4 or 5 hours. But that was his first bullet, got so close to making it. I would have loved to see it, but obviously good news for Arthur. He was able to win this spot and make it to another final table with a lot of chips tonight. Let's take a look at our next player. Who's up next? Oh, well, speaking of tournament crushes, I don't know, Cole, Justin Bonomo is back. It's only his second final table, but he's only played like 15 times, so you could still say that's quite all right. I mean, 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8 times he makes it to a final table. Justin Bonomo, do we need to introduce this man to the masses?
He's a good player. No, yeah, 2 final tables, 5 cashes out of 15 appearances is actually really good. Like he cashes 33% of the time, and 2 times it's a final table. And the one time he did final table, he got 3rd place, which is really, really good. A big crusher, starting to play the Super Millions a bit more, it seems. And had a bit of a run. Look in November, you see, he got another cash there too. It's just funny because you're like, okay, who's next? You're like, oh, like this is a bigger crusher than I expected. I thought you were gonna see a pretty solid player. Like, okay, this guy's really good. Yeah, I don't know what to say besides this guy wins everything, but I guess he can't win the Super Millions yet. But he didn't play as many times, so maybe today's the day.
I want to mention as well that he made it to the final table on his first bullet. Like, your man, Michael Adamo, fired 9 bullets this week.
Did he? No way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not making it up. 9 bullets of Michael Adamo this week. Did not manage to get there. Justin Bonomo, 1 single entry was enough to make it to another final table. We can take a look at one of the hands that did not really help him to get to this final table, but it is a pretty fun hand. We can take a look at it. The Jack-6 of clubs, battling it out with the King-8 offsuit of upswinger. And then, Anoko, if you look at this hand, is this what the kind of stuff you expect of Justin Bonomo?
Exactly. For aggressive players, they're gonna bet their flush draws on the flop, of course, and then when they see an overcard, they're just gonna keep firing away. It's put your opponent on a weaker hand, and then when the river comes to king, it's like, okay, I just gotta go for it. Like this card does not improve my opponent usually, right? They got a hand like 8-9, ace-8, something like this, and it's gonna be very scary. So he goes for the all-in play. Of course, he's going to get called when his opponent rivers 2 pair. But this is, I think, as played, this is really good. A lot of like lower stakes guys, medium stakes guys, they'll fire the flop. They'll fire the turn bond and river. They're like, okay, I put too much into this pot. I'm going to give it up. But this is kind of one of the differences between one of the high stake players and someone lower. Even though he did lose his hand, I do like the play.
And despite the fact that he lost the hand, he still made it to the final table, and he comes in with a reasonable amount of chips. So it's really good to see Justin Bonomo back, and let's see if he can just add 1 more title to his already very impressive poker resume. Next up is one of the guys that has never made it to a final table, so it's a brand new face for all of us. Oscar Brown. He has played 4 high roller Super Millions so far, did not cash a single time. If we take a look at some of his other scores on the right side over at the GGPoker network, well, a decent run in the Millionaire Maker, Nananoka. That was a very big field, but who won that again? Like one of the... was
Daniel Devoris, I believe.
Oh yeah, Daniel Devoris, yes. Daniel Devoris won the Millionaire Maker. I mean, we look at this profile, and I don't think we can really do a whole lot with this, right? I mean, this doesn't really tell us a lot.
Exactly. I think the one thing I will say is this guy is from Monaco, Monte Carlo. This guy is probably some high roller. He's got like, Bugatti Veyron. He's just chilling there. He's like playing some GG on the side. Like, he's probably a high roller here. And this is our first guy from Monaco, I believe, to reach our final table.
I think some people have been rocking the flag. Maybe if this guy's actually a native, then yes. I'm with you, but I'm pretty sure that Davide Guitar plays with the flag of Monaco.
Possible, yeah. But you know what? This is the true true person from Monaco, Monte Carlo, I believe, at least. And
all right,
we don't know much about him. But that gets me excited because I've been there before, and it's a really nice place. And those guys, they charge a lot for some food there. I'll tell you that.
I've never been. I've been close, but never there. But I believe it. Let's take a look at one of the hands that Oscar Brown had on his journey to his very first final table here in the High Roller Super Millions. And this is actually a pretty adventurous hand. Ramashka is betting into him on the turn. He calls, and on the river, I mean, the 9 doesn't do that much for him, but makes another pretty impressive call on the river, Nano. I looked at this and I'm like, that's a pretty solid call. I don't think I would have the courage to make it. What do you make of this hand?
Yeah, this is going to be a wild final table, man, because both Ramashka and Oscar Brown's here at the final table. They're playing looser, right? There's some high rollers. Ramashka's just betting on 4 straights because he's got a lot of chips. He got it done against Petrangelo earlier, but this time he doesn't get it done. Oscar Brown just calls up a pair of 5s on the turn and river. Very heroic, got it done. This is gonna be a fun one. I think we got a nice mix of players here today.
Yeah, I mean, like the call on the turn is obviously just well done, but I think you can it makes sense, right? Because you still have the gutter ball too. So if a 7 would roll up, you've got the highest straight. At least you have a pair. So if your opponent checks to you on the river, you have some showdown value. The river call is pretty impressive, man. It's like, all right, what do you beat? And he's like, well, the Jack 10 offsuit. So impressive stuff here by Oscar Brown. Looking forward to watching him play some cards tonight. We've got 9 minutes, guys, until the cards go up in the virtual air. So we have a few more profiles to cover. Actually, we have 4 more profiles to cover. So maybe we have to speed up. Next up is Faiso. Now, I remember Faiso didn't make it to a final table once, but that is indeed a long time ago, guys. September 20th. He has played in 13 High Roller Super Millions so far. 2 final tables, only 2 cashes. But I guess if whenever you cash, you make top 4 Nanonoko, that will still be very profitable. And that's kind of all we know about Faiso.
Yeah, I don't remember much about his play from that time, but he is a profitable player here in this 10K Super Millions. He's definitely going to be profitable after today's final table here. But no, I do not remember too much about him, but he definitely strikes me as someone who knew what he was doing.
I also played a $100 satellite into a $1,000 satellite into the main event. And I believe, unlike Ramashka, this is actually his first bullet. He made it to the final table of his little satellite adventure. That's honestly very impressive. So Faiso is right now here at the final table off the back of a $100 investment. That's the modern poker dream right there, guys. Let's take a look at one of the hands. Oh my goodness, this hand. I looked at this hand. Nanonoko. This is absolutely brutal, disgusting, savage, wrecked. Pascal Hartman is someone who's made it to quite a few of our final tables. And this is just a very, very brutal hand for Pascal. And I guess if you run like this, Faiso, you could very well win it all tonight, but this one is a brutal one.
This is like some Bensi be all in type play, right? Like just get it in terrible and then somehow find a way to win. Because what's even sicker is that Pascal Hartman's holding 10-8. He's blocking one of his outs, but he still hits a hand to win it, which is a backdoor flush. Faiso, he's a lucky man, and lucky players, they're hard to take down at these in these tournaments.
I believe even the powerhouse that was King 6 suited had more than 4.55%. I mean, not even 5% when all the chips went into the middle for Faiso. Now, if Faiso would have lost his hand, he would have still been in the tournament, but yeah, I mean, these are very nice ones to win, because instead of having a very mediocre stack, all of a sudden you're like, hey, I've got 600k at this table, now I can start raising it up a little bit. So pretty brutal hand for Pascal Hartman. A lucky one for Faiso, but hey, lucky people do very well lately in the world of online poker, Nanonoko. I've seen them crush heads-up battles over 25,000 hands. I see Tom Brady winning Super Bowls. Lucky is good. So let's move on. And obviously, I hope for Faiso that he keeps running like that tonight. Next up is a man who definitely made a big splash on the High Roller Super Millions over just the last few weeks, man. January 24th, he got so close to winning it, took 2nd place, but Helen Clark, also known as David Jan, he's back. Did fire a couple of bullets to get here, but I know that you're kind of a fan of this guy. And I gotta say, Nano, last time you got me on board, kept a close eye on everything he was doing. David Yan is just a really fun poker player.
He's a very solid player, and you know, like he's actually done really well in the Super Millions. 908,000 total winnings, only playing 19 of the Super Millions. He's not reckless putting in 9 bullets, I'll tell you that. But if we look at his scores, he's got a fifth, and a second. But look at how much he's got paid for those fifth place finishes. 342,000 for one of them, 172,000. Those were the big field ones, right? And then he got second place for 314,000. He's up a lot. He's a very profitable player here.
He absolutely is a very profitable player. He did fire 4 bullets this week, so it wasn't like one magical bullet all the way to the final table. Not quite 9 bullets either, but you know, 4 bullets. There's still some serious heart and commitment there. But hey, he's been running good in this tournament lately, so why the hell not? And well, I think it's already a profitable investment, because I believe you'll win at least 40,000 or a little bit more to make it to the final table. So we're in the plus. Now the big question is, how much in the plus will we end today? Let's take a look at one of the hands that David Yan had, where he actually was battling it out with Stevie Chitwick, another very familiar face of our tournament series, and went all in on the flop. Now, if you look at this, what do you make of it?
Well, I see Stevie and Chitwick able to try to get a lot of value of that top pair, just a pair of 6, right, an ace kicker. But you know, David Yan did have a pretty good combo draw here, pair and a straight draw, and did get there. I guess there's one small thing I want to point out is that David Yan opted to lead from the big blind on this board texture, knowing that these ones kind of hit his range a bit more. And, you know, a lot of guys like to just check some ace highs. He didn't want that to happen. In the end, they did get in and with almost a coin flip. And one guy came out on top and one guy not at our final table today.
Like, this is one of these hands where obviously we were not watching it live, but this spiraled out of control real quick. If you look on the right side, you're like pre-flop 33k, flop 75k, turn 800k. It's like, whoa, what did both players flop? And it's like, well, one flopped the combo draw and the other one flopped top pair and refused to let go. Neither of them was really wrong, because it was obviously very close. 55-45%. Stevie Chitwick, a small favorite to hold, but he was not able to hold. So this is definitely what helped David Yan make it to another final table. And that means we have 2 more players to cover tonight. Next up is the pick of the week, Nanonoko. The sleeper pick of the week, Donals. Over 1 million of earnings so far over at the GG network. Has only played in 6 high roller Super Millions. Cashed twice. This is obviously his first final table. And apparently it is a Dutchman. And I'm happy to see that, Nano. I haven't been able to be very biased for my Dutchies yet. So I look forward to it. How familiar are you with Donals?
I'm not familiar with him, but he's got the little pug avatar. You know, is he a goofy player or something? That's what I always think about when I see this avatar. Yeah, don't know much about him, but you can be as biased as you want, and I'm sure it's not going to change how he plays today. We'll see.
No, I mean, if that would be the case, Nano, I wouldn't be biased at all. I would just sit here in silence. But the good news is that they will play way before we talk about the things that they have been doing. We have 2 minutes, by the way, so we got to speed up a little bit. Let's take a look at one of the hands that Donals had on his journey to his very first final table. This is not a hand that really helped him out. This is a hand that tells us a lot about the way he likes to play. Actually, those are some very adventurous calls, Nanonoko.
Yeah, so on the flop, he floats out of position, small blind versus big blind with 10-9 offsuit, just thinking his opponent's trying to steal from me. Then he turns a straight draw. He's like, okay, I'm already committed. If I call this flop, I might as well put some extra chips on the turn, but did not get there on the river. So we know he's capable of some pure heroic plays here. And, you know, like I said earlier, we've got a good lineup today, a mix of big crushers and some unknown players that are wild.
The man does not like to give up easily, that's for sure. Because I think on that board, a lot of people will just let the 10-9 go immediately. Obviously, the turn makes it a bit more promising. This means we have 1 more player to cover. We got to do it quick, but we already spent hours upon hours talking about the last player to make it to the final table of week 35. The higher all the Super Millions. The man is back again, Niklas Astedt. He already has more final table appearances than anybody else in this tournament series, and he's just about to add another one. And he's also the most profitable player in the entire High Roller Super Millions, despite the fact that he has never won a tournament. Maybe won a little bit less than Michael Adamo, even though with this final table, potentially he won more again. But he also has quite a few less entries than Michael Adamo. So it's great to have Niklas back. We'll talk more about him soon. Let's take a look at one of the hands that Niklas Astedt had on his journey to just another final table, just another Sunday for him. Ace-10 offsuit, battling it out with 10-4 suited. Flush did not get there. Ace-10 holds. It's a beautiful life, Nananoka.
Yep,
Well,
just
ace-10.
jamming in there. It was really early in the tournament. I like to see these hands, how they get started in the beginning when they're super deep. And I can't believe this guy's at another final table, but this time at the very bottom.
Does not come in with a lot of chips, but like I mentioned earlier in the show, when there were 14 players left, Niklas Astedt had 4 big blinds. So the fact that he had 4 big blinds when there were 14 players left and he still made it to the final table, it already means he's on a tiny bit of a heater. A little bit of run good heading his way. Well, guys, it is time for our favorite part of the show. And I think the main reason why all of you guys are here, other than maybe the occasional free roll, which we will be mentioning in time, I promise you guys that. Nananoko, as we are witnessing the seat selection process at the final table, who is your pick of the week?
You know, I'm going to give you the first pick because I feel like you got a lot of nice choices out there, and I don't want to steal your choice today, Roddy. I know you're on a heater. So who is your pick to win it first in the
I
10K
mean,
Super Millions?
Ben CB did kind of save my dignity last week by finally delivering. And that wasn't an easy pick. You know, I picked a guy who came in like 8th in chips or something, still ended up winning the entire tournament. So that was solid. A little bit of redemption for me. This week, I'm going to go back to my roots, man. And I actually think that Arthur Martirosian can win it all. I feel Arthur is just he's a machine. The man plays poker 24/7. He's in every single tournament. He's got over $11 million of earnings over at GG. Why not add another $500,000 on top?
You know, I haven't been able to pick a winner in a while. I feel like something is wrong. Should I go for the obvious Justin Bonomo pick? Honestly, something's going to change today. You know what it is? I think Niklas Astedt is going to win it. He hasn't won it yet. He keeps losing, but something about today feels like a Niklas Astedt day. You got your favorite guy, Artur Martirosian, there. I feel like this is just set up for you to lose to Niklas Astedt because you keep betting on him. He never wins. Today, he's going to deliver, Roddy.
I have a hard time believing it. I think now you're just trying to be as cool as I was last week. You're like, you know what? All the time, whenever I pick the winner, I pick the guy who came in with like 7.4 million chips. I'm not getting any brownie points for this. So, you know what? This week I'll be cool and I'll pick Niklas Astedt. Well, Nananoko, your pick will probably be alive for like 27 minutes, and that's kind of where it ends. But let's talk about this first hand, mate, because this is already a pretty rough spot for Justin Bonomo. He flatted with the Queen Jack suited. Yeah, it's a pretty hand, but he's having some serious kicker problems over here.
Yep. Now, Ramashka and Oscar Brown, based on the pre-show, these are some crazy players, right? And this Ramashka is calling here of inside straight draw. Oscar Brown now turns 2-pair, but he did have the best hand on the flop. Bonomo does call in. You know, like, is another half pot bet coming? Can Bonomo still call Queen Jack? It's a tough call to make because two guys are involved. A nice fold there, and an overcard comes. But I think if that king didn't come, man, he would have lost even more chips there.
Yep. In a way that it's funny as well because Oscar Brown probably loved seeing that king, but it actually was a whole lot better if that would have just been the deuce. Maybe the deuce of diamonds, so Ramashka sticks around a little bit longer, but then completely misses the the flush on the river. Anyways, up to the next one. Faiso opening up aces under the gun +1. And Ramashka is like, hey, 10-8 suited didn't get it done, but I'm still the chip leader. So Queen Jack offsuit. Let's give that a proper shot.
I told you, man, Ramashka is a different player when he's a chip leader, right? He's already splashing the very first two hands of this final table. Doesn't flop anything here, so he's going to have to give it up. Faiso trying to bet really tiny with those set of aces. Didn't work. But Oscar Brown, one of the guys where you get a lot of value if he had put some money on him, and he's already over 3 million chips. So he's got the same stack as Artur Martirosian.
Let's see what Niklas Astedt decides to do here with 15
My pick.
big blinds.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Nicholas picks up his first hand of the night. That is obviously the good thing about having, like, if for all the people out there who put some money on Nicholas Astedt when it came to the final table betting, you know that Nicholas Astedt is not afraid. And he is not going to protect his 5 or 6 big blinds, trying to just make one more pay jump and trying to score those extra $12,000. Now, he will just play his hands and he's in it to win it, or at least have a very deep run. He's not going to try to outlast the other short stack.
I mean, has Lena 900 ever gotten ninth, eighth, or seventh? I believe not. He's always got at least a top 5 finish, mainly top 3 and mainly second places. So you say he's going to be busted out in 27 minutes. It's so unlikely despite his chip stack situation.
The thing is, though, I'm sure that some of these guys at this table would love to get rid of Niklas Astedt. If you can have him with his tournament life on the line with a good old coin flip, I think that's a coin flip you're willing to take. You know, he's a good guy to get rid of, Nano, and I mean it with all the love and the respect. But if I was at this table, I would not mind seeing Niklas go.
Yeah. Like you said, last week was an amazing final table. I feel like today might be a good one. Like, we're seeing so many fluffs lately already. It's only been, what, 5 hands dealt so far. King 10 for Oscar Brown. He's got open ended straight draw. He's not scared. And Nick Petrangelo, he doesn't have anything. He's firing away.
I mean, I just think of that call with the pair of 5s that Oscar Brown had in the pre-show. We took a look at one of his hands. This man is not going to give up. At this point, he has the best hand. He probably doesn't know that. He's probably hoping to just hit that ace or the 9. Maybe a king would be all right, but he actually already has the best hand.
I think Petrangelo's thinking about firing again. He picked up a little straight draw. He puts a pot-sized bet out there. Well, imagine if Oscar Brown calls here with the open-ended straight draw and it's still good. He's going to fold. Man, nice play.
Yeah, that's an excellent bet by Nick Petrangelo, but definitely a risky one because Oscar Brown kind of struck me as the guy who would have made a call there, Nananako. And let's say he would have completely missed. It would have been an 8 or a random 6 or something, and would go check, check. I don't know if the 6 would have made him a straight. I know one of the lower cards would have made Nick Petrangelo a straight, but imagine if you would win a massive pot like that while missing your open-ended straight draw, but still being good with your king high. That'd be something.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I think, if Oscar Brown had like a top pair, I don't think he was folding, but open, and it just sucks to be out of position for a pot-sized bet. But already some fireworks going. Nick Petrangelo's got 2 8s here. Thinking about 3-betting this hand. He is going to 3-bet commit against the short stack, but the short stack just got ace-5 suited.
Yeah, I mean, once you start committing chips, you are one of the shortest stacks. You don't like to give up, right? Because this is also giving a signal to the other guys that they can potentially 3-bet you. On the other hand, you have to try with suited aces. There is Arthur Martirosian with his first set of aces. I think Arthur is going to win today, Nananoka. I feel pretty good about my prediction.
I mean, look, though you did one mistake, Roddy, and the mistake is you skipped on final table betting when Arthur Martirosian came to this one, and he's going to ship it. You're gonna
Probably
you're gonna feel bad about it. You're like, oh my god, I could have won some monies. I know Ben CB won last time, but like, geez, Roddy, like, you're doing things wrong. You're doing it wrong, and he's got 2 aces. And let's see if Bonomo defends the Queen 4 clubs.
It's all the needling, mate. It's all the joy that you get out of seeing the guys that I put some money on bust. I couldn't take it this week. I said, no more mental abuse from Nanonoko. I want a pass. Arthur hits us with the so sick after he erased with aces and didn't get any action.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna stop giving you the mental abuse. Don't be. I'll be back next week, Roddy, for just forever until this show ends. I'm back. You will always. Ever since you sent me that hand history, it's gonna get worse. Trust me. That hand history was the worst thing I've read in a long time. And your comments to support it was worse. Oh my god, it was bad.
Yeah, just when I started to think I was getting a little better at poker, you made sure that I was put back into my place. And I have no illusions of knowing what I'm doing at this point. Let's see if David Yen decides to get a little feisty with his tiny pocket pair. He will raise it up in one of the later positions, the cutoff.
Yeah, this is pretty cool because you know what? in our 35 editions, we keep seeing the short stacks folding pocket threes, fours, and fives and deuces as the original razor, right? They're just like, no, I don't want to play this hand. But David Yan's like, I'm gonna just go for it, and it's no pocket fours, but it's still the best hand.
Yeah, but it's very hard to figure out that this is the best hand, right?
Oh, for
Yes.
sure. Look at this flop.
Yeah.
Multi-way. I'm thinking this is the worst hand guaranteed, but is he going to
hmm
try to represent that ace, king, king, queen? He is raising off a small stack, so people are going to give him a bit more credit. I can't believe this 100K bet might work, but Ramashka might see like this is too cheap of a price. Can he go crazy? No, he does not. Nice spot for David Yan, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just the power of C betting, where it's like, well, this doesn't look all that good for me, but hopefully it's bad for my opponents too. And this kind of stuff really matters a lot for David Yan, who now goes from arguably maybe 900K chips all of a sudden to 1.3 million. I think if Ramashka would have won one of his previous hands, he would have absolutely called that Nanonoko. But it's just the fact that you come in as chip leader, you're ready to flex your muscles, and then you lose a couple pots, you're like, all right, let's slow down. Let's not be stupid. We came in with 5 million chips. Let's not bust in the first hour and do something incredibly dumb. I really think that's why he folded. If he would have won one of those previous hands, I think he would have stuck around.
Ramashka is defending from the small one, King 9. He's just like, you know what? I haven't won a hand yet. I'm just going to keep getting in there and see if it happens. He's still our chip leader. And that's the thing. When you're the chip leader, you splash a little bit. It doesn't work out. You still got a bunch of chips. He's going to have 2 6s against his ace queen, I imagine. I wonder if Dan Oss is going to make a move with ace 10. It'll be a bit feisty, I think, from this position. But he's going to probably see a raise and a call. And sometimes you get a little bit antsy and you want to go for a little squeeze here, but he's just insta folds.
Ramashka decides to just call. Don't hate it. Potentially see a flop. And now Nick Petrangelo is like, you know what? The price is too good. I'll tag along as well with my 4 deuce of diamonds. And in a way, I would almost say that he flops best. I mean, the sixes probably don't hate this flop. Like, it's quite decent for sixes. But Nick Petrangelo flopping the open-ended straight draw, you got to stick around now, right, Nano?
Of course, but man, imagine if he drops down to 6. We're going to have a new massive chip leader, right? Because that would be the set versus the straight. Ooh, that was a close one. But both players still got chips to put in, I think, with these hands. They're not great hands, but they're definitely marginal enough to continue.
I mean, Nick Petrangelo now has a pair to go with his open-ended straight draw. Now Ramashka also has an open-ended straight draw. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. And Petrangelo's like, okay, I got a good price here. He does not have the best hand. Ramashka so far has gotten 2 streets of value of 2 6s. I can't imagine him going for a third value bet, but that'd be pretty sick on this board.
There's no way. He's going to check it back.
You can see he's thinking about. He's like, man, I really want to value bet this one. Most players won't, but Ramashka, he's a different player, and now he's back up to over 5 million chips.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Because imagine if you get raised there. I mean, there's obviously just absolutely nothing you can do, I think, with the sixes. And then all of a sudden, Nick Petrangelo is the chip leader, so that would have just been way too out of line. Nanonoko, we always do our prediction game of who we think is going to win the final table. Who do you think is going to bust first tonight?
My read is going to be the short stack Dan Oss. Now, I know he's the pick of the week, but GG picked him, but that wasn't my pick of the week. I didn't say, hey, put Dan Oss as the guy to win this tournament. He's got no stack. I think Dan Oss is the first one now. What about you?
I mean, that is obviously a solid prediction because he has by far and away the least amount of chips. But I'm going for Niklas Astedt, man. He's my arch nemesis. He is public enemy #1 in the House of Ruddy. I've got his picture on the wall. I throw darts at it every night ever since he busted me. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I just wanted to ask you for fun.
Don't forget, though, he ignored you when you chatted with him at that 1K final table.
Yep,
like, this guy has a lot of marks of things you do not like. Loses you money. Loses you to the who's going to win the challenge, busts you out of the tournament, ignores your chat. There's a lot of reasons not to like Lita 900 for you.
I know, and I still like him. It's sad. It's like a one-sided love affair over here in Anoka. All right, we have Ace 8 suited battling it out with King Jack. Ramashka tried to stick around, had the open ender, did not improve, and Oscar Brown will take down another pretty decent pot here in Anoka.
Yeah, that there was some pretty weak hands there by the river card. Man, it looks like some value bet did get in here. Like I've said it multiple times already, but this final table is gonna be one unique one, right? Like we've got to, they're just splashing around. Ramashka's at 9-8 suited. He's definitely gonna come along, right? He's got position. He's got the chip lead.
You know what's
You know,
funny?
what is it?
That if you look at this lineup and you would have asked me like 15 to 20 minutes in, who's the biggest winner so far, Roddy? Nah, you probably think, maybe Justin Bonomo or Niklas Astedt gets the double, or Nick Petrangelo runs over the table, Arthur does a thing. But no, it's casually Oscar Brown who's off to the hardest start on the left side. He's the one winning the majority of the chips. I don't think that's something that anybody would have expected.
He's the guy from Monte Carlo too. Okay, he's the high rollers. Like this tournament is so cheap. It's only $10,000. Like he's just gonna go crazy. I love
Why
it.
is this a two-day event then, Anoko? I don't get it. Why are they splitting up the tiny buy-in events these days?
Yeah, he probably plays the $1 million tournaments, that go around. I mean, I don't know Oscar Brown, but he's definitely doing the best here at the final table, and Bonomo is definitely doing the worst, I imagine.
Well, time to change that with a good old ace queen of clubs. It is always a bit scary when you get ace queen, but the guy before you, the true under the gun, opens up immediately like, hey, I'm the one with ace queen. That's supposed to be my move. Like, why are you doing my move? And Justin does not want a three bet, doesn't want to make the spot any bigger than it is. I would not be surprised. I really feel that Oscar should tag along for this, right? Jack 9 suited,
Of
pretty good hand.
course. I'm just saying, is this our first four-way flop in a 10K Super Millions? It might be. Honestly, I don't remember the last time we had a four-way flop.
I think in 35 weeks, we definitely had a couple of four-way flops, Nananoko. I don't know if we ever had a family pot where everybody was in, but I'm pretty sure that we've had four-way pots.
Yeah, I mean it seems strange because I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen this. So he's going to check around to our chip leader. This board hit no one.
Mm-hmm.
If Ramashka can just fire 200K, he's going to win this pot, but it does check around. And still, can you believe that no one has a piece on this board?
Well, 5-5-4-7. Yeah, I can believe it, Nananoko. I mean, it's quite unique, but I can absolutely believe it. I actually felt this would have been a perfect moment for Oscar Brown to put in some chips. You know,
It's
he's the guy
scary,
from the.
though. You got
Yeah,
three
of
guys
course.
behind you still, but I understand, right? He is the best one to represent this
Mm-hmm.
board, though, right?
And obviously, like if he did have a five, it's very likely that he would have checked it pre-flop, right? Because he's not all of a sudden going to bet out of position. And then if it goes check, 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 then on the turn it's like, well, let's get some chips in here with my trip fives. I'm the guy on the big blind. I'm the one who's been running hot. I would have loved to see a little bet out of Oscar Brown. Instead, it will go checks all around on the turn. And this means that David Yan could be in a bit of trouble because he probably thinks that his ace is good now. We know that the ace of Justin Bonomo is just a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess the question is he going to lose like 200K, 300K, 100K? I think whatever David Yan bets would just get called by Bonomo, especially with two guys still left to act. It's a tiny, this is a 20% pop bet. And Bonomo's, he might consider raising this bet. I think 150K he would have just called. 106K is like, what Bonomo's thinking is, okay, he's worried about ace king, but he's got to ask this question: would ace king bet more on the river? I think the answer is yes. So maybe ace queen can definitely potentially find some value in raising. It is scary. Most players will just call here because it's still two guys to act. But I think it's reasonable. It really is. This bet size is so small.
Yeah. And if somebody was slow playing like an absolute monster, they would bet way bigger, right? Because they want to get paid. Like, imagine a world where someone would have had pocket fours. They're not going to bet, like, they're not going to check two streets to then bet. 100K on the river. So Justin Bonomo makes the call, does not raise, but does win a pot worthy of 700,000 chips. And those are some chips that were much needed because things were not looking too hot for Justin Bonomo. He came into this final table with 2.2 million. If he would have lost that previous round, to imagine if Oscar Brown would have bet out on the turn, Nanonoko. I don't think Justin Bonomo wins that pot.
Of course, but look, we can't yell at Oscar Brown, the guy from Monte Carlo, for not betting Jack Nine high on a four-way pot. I understand what you're saying, but with the end of that pot, things have actually reset the stacks. If you look around, only Oscar Brown's stack has changed, really, right? Ramashka's got his same stack he started the final table with. Bonomo's back up to much better. David Yan lost his chips. Like, it's almost like we just started the final table.
Pretty much the only thing that is different is that Donals lost a couple of chips. He had 900K, he's got 600K now, and Oscar Brown has a few more chips. David Yen had a few
Same.
more chips, but pretty much that even. So yeah, Dustin Bonomo lost a couple chips, and Donals lost a couple chips, and then Oscar Brown won a couple chips. And I guess Faiso, well, actually no, he's got less chips than he started with. That's funny because didn't he have aces already twice or something?
Hey, that's a big hands. But it's just Oscar Brown just sucked a little bit of chips from everyone and just to increase his stack. Blind versus blind. It's a limp pot. David Yan going to go for a fire here. Bonomo doesn't have anything, but he's got back doors. But yeah, if most people will just insta fold, but he's a little feisty.
Mm-hmm. Probably also knows that David Yen is pretty feisty too. An ace on the turn. Now they play a holds an ace, but that's still always a fun card. Who can wrap it better, Nanonoko?
Well, it would definitely be David Yan has a better chance of repping it. But the thing is, Bonomo doesn't have anything, so he might be forced to try and represent it. It does go check, check. Both players don't have anything. Someone's got a fire. I just no way Bonomo can check down 8-4 high after floating this flop.
I mean, David Yen probably feels that he's the one who needs to bet. And he does fire a tiny bet. Those 100K bets have done very well so far for David Yen. That's the second time that he takes down a pot where he didn't really have a whole lot going. Donals, a short stack, decides to fold Queen Jack offsuit in early position. Obviously, a very reasonable play with only 12 big blinds. I have the feeling that Faiso is going to be our sleeper tonight, Nananoka. Like, we're going to forget that he's here, and then every now and then it's like, oh, Faiso's got aces or ace king. And then he's like, he's back in the mix, baby. And he wins a couple chippies, and then he just goes quiet again.
Very possible, but I'm feeling one of these crazy players. Oscar Brown is like, he's like the more solid Ramashka. Ramashka is just getting in there like really crazy, you know. But these two guys are definitely firing away. Petrangelo just won that pot. Let's see what we got. Some nice hands around here. Oh, Ace King over there, top left.
Do you think Niklas is sending it here with sixes? Like, it's not really necessary. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. He doesn't strike me as a guy who would definitely shove that spot, especially in this position. If we move those positions near closer to the button, yes. But in that one, Niklas is too solid for. How do you think he got to the final table of 4.5 big blinds when you were watching? You think it's him just getting in there with the 2 6s, 2 deuces, and fours? No, he's playing good cards, solid hands, and he waits for his opportunities.
I mean, couple buy-ins, Nananaka. 3 buy-ins this week for Niklas Astedt. I gotta say, that's not that bad. For someone who is like obviously making the final table more than anybody else in this entire tournament series, I think it makes sense that if you bust early to try your luck again, and sometimes even again, because this is clearly a tournament that he's very familiar with. He's probably very comfortable in just the setup and the format. So I think it only makes sense that Niklas Astedt fires a couple bullets. This could be a pretty big pot. Faiso with the pocket nines. Ramashka with the very quick 3-bet. Ramashka's fast, by the way. He's an 0.1 second kind of guy.
Yeah, that Russian knows what he wants to do. 2 nines here. I think most players, I would fold. I think a lot of guys would fold. And he is going to lay down. It's a big laydown, okay? 2 nines. It's not an easy one, but you got to look at the final table, the other players. Donals sitting on 10 big blinds. Niklas Astedt with half your stack. It just seems like sure, maybe you folded the best hand, but you need to respect this ICM pay jump things, or you're not playing poker what the professionals would play it.
And I think worth mentioning as well is that even though Ramashka has been very active tonight, that's his first 3-bet pre-flop. So all of a sudden that becomes a little bit more intimidating too. Queen 10 of clubs. Decent flop for Nick Petrangelo.
Not too bad. Gonna be real hard for Justin Bonomo to win this despite being the pre-flop raiser. He's gonna try to represent that ace, but it's not gonna work. This guy's got a pretty good flush draw.
It's a very tiny bet too. Today is all about the very tiny bets. Nick Petrangelo puts in the race. No respect for Justin Bonomo whatsoever. Takes it down. Good start for Nick Petrangelo tonight. I'm surprised you didn't talk that much about him. I mean, I know you gave him some props. As Ramashka's
Well,
got kings. Uh-oh.
He got
And
third
Anoko.
twice. Okay. Oh no, the fours are gone. You let's hear your rant. Tell the viewers that haven't been here before why you do not like Justin Bonomo right now.
I mean, Justin Bonomo just folded a set pre-flop. That's not okay, Nanako. I don't care how many titles you have in poker. Nobody should ever fold a set pre-flop. I was about to say Ramashka's in trouble, man. Like, yeah, he's got pocket kings. It's a pretty good hand. Some people think it's the second best starting hand in poker, but it's actually the third best starting hand in poker. Because the best starting hand is pocket fours. And Justin Bonomo just let it go. See, now he did the rabbit hunting and he's like, damn it, I would have flopped quads just like Ben CB would have had last week. Unbelievable.
All right. The fours were lit last week, weren't they? I forgot about that.
Ben did giggle about it when like he was listening to us. I was watching his stream of him watching us. And I was like, Ben CB won it despite the fact that he even folded quads. And then Ben was like, yeah, that's right. I was like, I can't believe it. He folded fours. He's like, no, fours was actually a fold. Stop it, Ben.
I guess Ben's based on what you've told me from watching his stream, he sounds like a very serious guy. Huh? Like he's like, okay, yeah, fours is obviously a fold pre-flop. You know, like he couldn't figure out it was a joke.
I don't know. He thought that I actually really wanted him to just get it all in pre-flop with pocket fours. Also, like I said, yeah.
I was gonna say he's probably thinking, did I really spend 2 hours talking to Roddy one time, and this guy's got the fishiest things to say ever.
Exactly. He's like, man, what's wrong with this guy? He made fun of me as well for like one of the hands when it was heads up. I was obviously a little emotionally invested, right? Because I had a pretty decent sized bet on Ben. And on top of that, I really like Ben. And it was like 10-5 offsuit, I think, against ace king. And I said something along the lines of was like, uh-oh, Ben could be in danger here. And then Ben listened to it and he tweeted at me. He's like, what do you think I'm going to do with 10-5 offsuit? I was like, well, if you put it like that, Ben, not much. But I was just worried, you know. I was like, this is one of these moments where Ben gets a little out of line. He's going to get punished. But obviously that didn't happen. I got to say, though, like, I look back at the heads-up match and I kind of look back at Ben's stream. He really has a very solid approach to poker. And there's a lot of people who's just like, hey, I'm a favorite here. Jam, 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 jam. Ben likes to keep the pot small and just kind of win, like just bit by bit, blind by blind. And I gotta say, it did really feel like you were watching some very high level stuff if you take a look at this VOD.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's still there for guys that want to check it out. Ben CB, I don't know. He doesn't enter every single Super Million, so I was going to say he didn't reach our final table today, but maybe he didn't even enter. It's potentially what happened. I'm not too sure. Faiso's got King Jack suited, huh? 2 sevens around. Okay, these guys are just folding. See, like you give these hands to Ramashka or Oscar, you know they're gonna see some flops and see what happens.
I mean, Nanako, if you win $450,000 on a casual Tuesday evening, I think you deserve a little holiday. I don't think you need to be back in the lab already on Saturday and grind all Sunday to then make another appearance on Tuesday. Go ahead, cash some of it out and enjoy yourself a little bit.
All right, so Arthur is firing from under the gun. He doesn't have anything. Just trying to represent a strong hand. 2 sevens. It's a tough call to make. but he's still going
Wow.
to make the call. And just 2 overcards. He's pick up a straight draw, and
Hmm.
I can't imagine Archer firing anymore. This card is definitely improves the big blind's range a lot more. Doesn't improve him. Doesn't have anything. It'd just be quite heroic.
It is Arthur Martirosian, though, who does not like to give up. But it goes check, check on the turn. The queen is a card that he could potentially represent well, though.
Yeah. I don't think he will though. I'm not sure. It's the queen. Yeah, he could. I guess he's representing big cards from Race Underground. King, queen, ace, queen.
Hmm.
His opponent's checked him. It does look like Bonomo does have like a middling hand. But Bonomo does like to make some. Wow, it's a pot
Oh,
size bet. Wow, this would be amazing if this
I like it.
works. Both ways, right? If the bet
Yep.
is beautiful, but man, if he can find a call of 2 7s, that'll be even sicker because there's no connection. This is just a pure stone cold bluff.
I feel this is truly one of those 50-50 spots where at this point, Justin Bonomo is like, either he has an ace queen or he just has an ace high. But Justin Bonomo will make the fold. So Arthur Martirosian takes it down, represents that queen on the river. And he went big. Arthur wins a big one.
He knows it, right? Like if you're gonna go represent that river card, you need to bet big, and you say it just a lot, right? Because I think sometimes you're like, oh man, this bet's a bit too small. If he bets, near pot size bet or a little over bet, maybe it would have got it done, and that's what you got to do, right? He got Bonomo to fold the best hand, and you did say something special about Artur Martirosian. Like just today feels like that day. He's he's the biggest player on GG, man. He plays anything. He's got 11 million in winnings, right? Like, and I believe I like to check the lobby just to see,
Mhm.
what's the staking options out there, right? Archer's been selling action, not
Yep.
because he needs to, but he just wants to. Um, seems like you would make some money because I'm pretty sure he's been to our final table multiple times recently. So a lot of value there.
Justin Bonomo limps with the ducks, and Arthur is having none of it. Absolute snap jam. I actually like this. This is something that I mostly see in like lower stakes in general, or like a lot of the tournaments I play where people go for like the 0.1 second all in immediately. They just fire away. But it actually makes me happy to see that some of these guys are doing it too. Arthur with the snap jam, Ramashka earlier with the snap race. It's pretty fun to see.
Yeah, they're not here for some theatrics and slowing down the play and trying to look like you got aces all the time. Nah, they're just like just play quick. Play quick is
Mhm.
nice.
No one has an ace, Nanonoko. How often do you see that?
Hey, look at this. And Niklas Astedt sniffed that out. He's like, I'm gonna open the king 8 suited from early position with no stack. Ramashka does not care. He calls him 9-7 suited.
Hmm. I mean, that's a pretty good hand to see a flop with. Donals may think back of Ben CB last week. It's like King 6 of spades did win a three-way all-in. And if Ben CB can get it done with the King 6 suited, imagine what I can do with a King 8 suited. Well, the answer is not much as he folds. Ramashka does flop top pair though. Niklas Astedt could be in a little bit of trouble this hand, Nanonoko, because he doesn't have that many chips behind.
Or is
And
he's gonna get
Ramashka
ripped
is
on
not going to
here.
fold.
Yeah. Oh wow, Niklas Astedt, he could be out of this tournament here if he decides to jam. He does turn a really good card for his hand. We know Ramashka can't fold this, right? It's only
No.
400,000 remaining into 600k pot. Nicholas Astedt is wondering what hands his opponent would call from a small line and check out his flop that would fold. He
Oh,
decides that his opponent is too strong. I can't
goes
believe
check.
Nicholas. How did he save himself? Like almost everyone would jam this turn card.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I guess Nicholas was using the logic that you were mentioning there, that Romashka would probably call anyway. Will call, like, if he calls the flop, he's probably calling the turn. So then you may as well see a free river card and see if you can get there or not. Arthur Martirosian has kings this round. Romashka with queen jack. Why do I have the feeling that Romashka is going to 3-bet Arthur Martirosian?
He probably will just call with the queen jack based on the way he's been playing. So that's going to bring Petrangelo in here. With these stacks, they're definitely just going to see a flop. I can't imagine Petrangelo squeezing this.
He
Wow,
will not.
bunch of nothing. How did these guys are just flopping nothing? I'm getting multi-way pots.
So Niklas Astedt stays alive, but he's obviously our super short stack at this point with a little over 6 big blinds. Donals still hanging in there too with, well, 9-ish big blinds, a little less than 9. Feels like those two are in a little battle with each other, but that's not the battle you want to be in. As my alarm goes up, Nanonoko, which means it is time for our second free roll of the night. If you guys want to play some poker tonight for free, I mean, everybody enjoys playing poker for free, right? While still having the chance to win some real money, head over to the free roll section over at GG Network. And there is a free roll starting in 10 minutes from now. We're giving away 5 $15 tickets to one of the satellites. The password is Nanonoko. There you go, guys. Capital N, password Nanonoko. Free roll starting in 10 minutes. Good luck, good luck.
Look, if that's the password, you're destined to do good. At least one of you will do good. That's what I imagine. Beautiful password. I hope they do not do a Rotterdam password. That'd be terrible.
I mean, that was the first one, but maybe nobody signed up. It's possible. but that would technically be better. Imagine if the password Rotterdam isn't enough to secure a ticket for one of those free rolls. Hey.
Good point. Good point.
Nick Petrangelo doesn't want to give Niklas Astedt a walk, but he's like, well, I guess the only thing I can do is jam. Hopefully I have 2 live cards, and hopefully he doesn't call. If I was Niklas Astedt here, by the way, I would call Nanonoko. And that is because I am born on the 8th of May. And I'm like, you know what? I have 2 live cards, an 8 and a 5. He's jamming any 2 into me. I'm not going to give him any credit. It's a flip, baby. And then I believe that the flip lock is on my side.
Q in Ben CB, like, that'd be the wrong play.
Yeah. Better like a 8-5 offsuit is actually a fold there, buddy. It's like, damn it, Ben, I know.
Wow. I was ready to give you a speech about how, like, that it didn't, like, that's not the right play. You need to preserve your stack because even though you're short of stack, someone else. And this guy goes, because I was born on the May 8th or whatever the number was. Like, oh my God.
You know what's funny is that I was streaming some poker last week. And then I shared this story. It's like, actually, I like playing 8-5, guys, because I'm born on the 8th of May. And then there's someone else in the chat. This is like plebs unite, you know, the absolute donkeys of internet poker unite. He's like, hey, Roddy, I like to play it too because I'm born on the 5th of August. And I'm like, high five. We both suck at poker.
Yeah. So, Roddy, that statement by you will not let you give you the right to send me any more hand histories as well. You dig yourself a bigger grave. You've got a lot to work from.
You know, Nanonoko, I will try my best. Like, this month is actually a very big month in the world of StarCraft because we're getting close to our World Championship. So I'm obviously pretty busy with that, keeping an eye on the performances of all the players and trying to play some myself. But whenever I will play some poker, I will only select the very, very best out there. Just one very complicated, tricky hand where I feel good about my play. You will get at least one hand history from me in the upcoming 30 days. I don't know when. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to collect like a solid 20 of them. And then I'm going to trim down the fat until I have the ultimate hand history and be like, Nanonoko, do you like my bluff? That's basically where we're going, okay?
All right. Well, I need to block you. But oh wait, did I say that out loud?
Hey, this could be it for Donals, by the way. I think ace queen with obviously, well, what is that? 7, 8 big blinds. That's obviously a go, right? There's no way. No other way.
No one can really call him. Man, Niklas Astedt has 4 big blinds. What a terrible pick by me. Oh my God. This guy.
That's because I mean I predicted this. You can call me Mystic Mac Randy because I predict these things. You just try to be cool because I pick Ben CB and you can only pick the guys who come in with 7 million chips. And you're like, you know what? Roddy looked pretty good last week. I'm going to be like Roddy this week. Well, there you have it. You guys 4 big blinds.
I'm liking Ramashka now. You know, he's got 6 million chips. Remember a final table betting put him on 3rd place. Is that right? Yeah, man. Remember, he came with 2 million more chips than Martirosian and Petrangelo, who both have chipped up so far, which is impressive. But he's increasing his stack faster than they are.
David Jan is not afraid. I mean, you gotta love to see that, Nananoka. Like, obviously, you can say it's maybe a somewhat standard play for some people, but with how short Donals is, and then obviously how super short Niklas Astedt is, there are a lot of people out there who are not willing to make that play with ace-10 offsuit. But David Jan is a player to my heart. I gotta say, I'm definitely turning into a little fan of him.
Come on, Nicholas Astedt, leading 900. You got ace jack. You're gonna get in good. There's a bunch of kings and queens folded. It's almost impossible for Nicholas Astedt to lose his pot because of how many
Well,
other kings and queens are folded.
if Nananoko says this, I want to say good job to Niklas Astedt for making it to another final
Oh
table. But
my
this is where
god.
it ends. There's the queen on the flop. We need an ace and an ace only on the river. But Nananoko is a very powerful man. And yeah, there's a queen too, just for good measure. GG. Unfortunately for Niklas Astedt, it wasn't meant to be. He is our first guy eliminated tonight. You know, Nananoko, you made it easy for me. Normally, I have a sweat, excitement. But when you said there is no way for him to lose, I'm like, all right, that's it. Well played, Niklas Astedt. Good job making it to another final table. Oh.
Something didn't seem right. I mean, like, he's never gotten ninth place at our final table, even coming in short stack. I haven't picked the winner in a while. My God, how did he bust out first? But regardless, Ramashka, okay, he comes on ace queen. That might bait Donals to jam the ace-3 of clubs here.
Yep. Even if he doubles up, he is still the shortest stack, unless he would double through Justin Bonomo or something. He may very well think that this is go time for him. Instead, he makes the call. Doesn't flop a whole lot, Nananoka. There's one club on the board, but you cannot get very excited over that.
Bonomo is the pre-flop raiser. He's just been dwindling downwards. I haven't seen him win mini pots. He's going to fire out here. I don't think Ramashka is going to fold. He's going to call the ace queen. Bonomo is just downswinging. He's just grinding downwards. But the club on the turn might change things.
Yeah, but I mean, Donals also folded 2 clubs. How many clubs are there really in this deck, Nananoka?
Yeah, is Bonomo going to bet or check? He's going to check, and the ace queen high is good. You're correct. Man, Roddy's on point today. Maybe Archer will win.
Well, Ramashka is the one who's on fire. You know what I also like is that Ramashka was obviously the chip leader. Arthur Martirosian clearly took position on Justin Bonomo, right? Respecting the great player that Justin Bonomo is when I have position on him. And then Ramashka was just like, hey guys, I've got 5 million chips. I take position on both of you. You know, you can also say that that's kind of a scary part of the table to be at, where it's like having position on people is good, but maybe being far away from Justin Bonomo and Arthur Martirosian is also not bad. But Ramashka has no fear, and he's playing great so far.
Bonomo's, is it his time to just go for the all-in plays? He folds the king-queen. Would have worked, actually.
You know, I was watching a different tournament. I think it was the final of a 1K Masters event or something. Maybe it was the one that Egyptian was streaming, one of the GG squad members. And all of a sudden, I saw Melker Larsen still rocking the Roddy portrait at one of these final tables. And I was like, man, Melker Larsen is so cool. I have no idea who he is, but I want to meet that man. He's making me famous, Nananoka, by actually playing good poker over at GG.
Yeah, I think I was looking before the tournament started. Right, he was in the lobby. He was trying to sell some action. And I saw a picture of you, and I believe he actually sold some percentages too. So, you know, maybe they think they're buying a piece of Roddy. I don't. This seems like a terrible move, but you know, like.
No. I tried to sell some action for my 1K turbo on the Sunday night. I sold 1% to one of my guys in the chat. He's like, Roddy, I like being the only believer. Let's go. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Arthur and like Lena, they scroll down that lobby. They're like, Rotterdam, who the F is that guy? Like, what is he doing over here? Giving us free money? All right.
Well, look at this. Bonomo firing away, and he's just keeps grinding down. He raises pre-flop. He puts in a bet, gets called. Ramashka's got the best hand. It's hard for Bonomo to keep firing, right? He's going to lose another pot.
Justin Bonomo will give up. Ramashka is going to check back and will receive the news that his ace-9 is good. And this is indeed very bad for Justin. who's now down to 12 big blinds. If he would have been able to make that one call with the sevens against Arthur Martirosian, but that was obviously very difficult, right? Pot size bet on the river. And it's 50-50. I feel like at that point it's like it's ace queen or it's king queen or it's ace queen. Ace queen or ace king. Maybe king queen, but it's much more likely it's one of the first two. Justin made the fold, lost a lot of chips. As Don also picks up a little pot, by the way. That's nice for him.
Yeah. So we got a, like I told you, we got a unique final table here where people are seeing flops a bit more, even not from the blinds. If you had a choice, you would want to sit on the position on the guys flatting a bit more, so you don't have to play out of position, right? Like that's what Bonomo's been doing. He's been raising, but he's been getting flatted by Ramashka a bunch and just losing chips, right? But here's the thing: at the GG tournament, when you reach the final table, the chip leader gets to pick his seat last. So the thing is, you couldn't take position on Ramashka, right? To make two great players out here, and he's absolutely crushing.
Mm-hmm. And I guess Justin Bonomo did have like fourth last pick, and he decided, which makes some sense because David Jan obviously an active and very good aggressive player. So having position on him makes sense, and Arthur getting position on Justin. And yeah, Ramashka just being like, hey, I'm one of you guys right now. I'm big boy poker player. Takes position on all of them. And we playing a phenomenal final table so far. You gotta love it. Faiso, almost forgot about him. He's still hanging in there, still raising a couple hands every now and then. Decides to raise the queen 9 and gets put to the test by David Jan. If you're David Jan there, you're only saying one thing, right? And that's fold. You don't want to get called.
Of course. I think he was a little worried. He's like, man, Face O's VPIP before the hand was like 6%. It's like, he doesn't play the hand. But he's like, nah, these guys are all nit, so I'm just jamming it on them. They ain't got a call.
So Oscar Brown is going to raise the ace-10 offsuit. Man, I really respect that of David Jan's game. No matter how short some of these guys are, if he has a spot where he feels the best move is just to put it all in, he just jams. And I gotta say, I love that because is it very ICM aware? That's a little crazy. It's a little reckless, but it is the way to make proper runs at tournaments too and potentially win them. So I'm definitely a fan. Maybe I'm not like the most ICM aware guy out there, but I like the way that David Jan is playing.
Well, Archer's 3-bet the Queen 8 offsuit against Oscar Brown and got it done. I know you love Archer Martirosian. He's like well, okay. Let's take a step back for a second. We've had 35 episodes, so 34 completed, right? Like, who's your like top 2 or top 3 guys you just love now in the Super Millions?
Well, yeah, Arthur is absolutely one of the first names that jumps into my mind. And other than that, I feel like there's a whole bunch of them have been very cool. Like obviously,
you gotta choose two. You gotta choose 2 more. You can't just pick the whole field like you do on your final table betting. Okay.
I mean, despite the fact that he busted me in the 1K, and I was a bit sad about it, and he shut me down when I reached out to him, basically gave him a love letter. I would say Arthur and Niklas are the 2 players that have really brought me a lot of joy. Yeah, I think I would go for those. I mean, Bruno Volkmann is actually like really high up there too, because he has been incredibly fun to watch. Rune F holds a special place in my heart by now. Obviously, Ben CB is a friend and a great player. But I think I'll go with Arthur and Lima.
One-sided friendship. Just want to clarify things a little bit.
I mean, I don't want to brag. This is kind of like a subtle flex, but he did follow me on Twitter. No. Just saying.
Okay. That's cool. You got your own little like category. Like, okay, guys, I guess I should follow, but don't really want to read. So look at that. Nice one from Ramashka. Showed 2 queens. You saw that? He's like, hey, yeah. You're a short stack. I feel sorry for you.
This could be a big pot. We have a set of 4s going up against queens. Oh. Nick Petrangelo's in trouble, Nanonoko.
Can a set of pocket 4s hit a set when 1 4 is already dead, though? It's like pretty darn hard.
It's pretty much a given. Okay, not today. But we do have the clubs that are still alive, Nanonoko. I see potential. Nick Petrangelo just flatting the queens, by the way. A little tricky, but with that ace on the flop, all of a sudden, do you love your queens a bit less, or are you still kind of in love with your queens?
He's still going to continue. Just hope his opponent just gives up on future streets. But this is pretty much a pure ICM play here of the 2 queens. He's just like, look, there's a guy of 440,000. There's a guy of 570,000. If I was to get in with 2 queens, it'd be a disaster. Hey, he's got a chance to lose here, actually.
Arthur has the clubs, at least the 4 of clubs. I think another big bet could get it done here, Nananoko. Like, we need to bet big. Obviously, if
Oh,
that is
wow.
big. That is big. And he gets it done. Arthur Martirosian, you are a stud, my friend. Man, he's sick,
Hey,
Nano.
man. We've seen guys play these ICM pots, right, with these big hands, but just because they're so deep with the other chip, they just call, and they always lose the pot. That's the thing, right? Like, because those 2-4 should not have won that pot, but they found a way just because his opponent didn't want to 3-bet the hand and take the aggression. So really, really nicely done here. Um, Personally, I'm loving the way Arthur is playing the most right now. I think he's playing the best.
And Ramashka, let's
And
not sell Ramashka short over here.
no, I'm not selling him short. I didn't even get to finish my statement. I'm not liking the way Faiso has been playing because he hasn't won a hand. Not liking the way Bonomo's playing. He's lost every single pot. So I'm a bit of results-oriented player, results-oriented commentator, I would say. But Ramashka, for someone who gets involved a lot, he does seem to win a lot of those pots, and another one got it done here.
I'm taking a look at some of our previous champs, right? Because obviously after 35 weeks, it is hard to remember everyone that stands out. And it's also, there is always a lot of recency bias, I think, when you commentate something like this, because now we're thinking mostly the last 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 weeks. But I mean, obviously we still got to put a lot of credit on Michael Adamo's name for winning 3 out of the first 11 editions. That's just an unreal accomplishment by him. It's been a lot of fun plays. You know who's actually been streaming a lot lately? I keep forgetting to mention that, but Mr. Jonathan Van Vliet, Ape Styles, he actually streams quite a bit. That's pretty cool to see. He seems like a very chill dude. Obviously has a high level stream. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, and he won our Super Millions. I think you do remember that. He's been to our final table multiple times.
Hey,
Really good.
did you
Well,
see
look
that
at this
call that
ace.
Ramashka just made?
Yeah, he's like, I don't believe. And Archer getting value of middle pair ace kicker. Is he going for another value bet? Because this would be thin but correct.
I mean, that's scary even for Arthur.
He's going to check. I probably would
Ramashka.
just think that the 2-5s are good, but maybe he's feeling feisty. Now he's got connection problems over in Russia. Yeah, he checks. Nice pot for Archer.
Yeah, that's a proper pot. 800K heading his way. I mean, Ramashka had a good hand to bluff.
Did you see that? That's the best emoji. You suck, because no one ever uses that here at a final table, but I love
Hey,
it.
Faiso can go all in, and Oscar Brown could very well call. I mean, be a little loose, but what would you do,
I don't think
Nananoko?
this is loose. I think this is the right play. Go with the ace jack. Even if you lose the spot, you still got 1.5 million in chips. Actually, more than 1.5. I think this is a mandatory call. I think ace jack is the best hand.
Well, ace jack offsuit will make the call, and we're off to the races. 10s against ace jack. So far, the 10s are good. 10s are still good, but that's a lot of outs. Every ace jack or a spade. That is a spade, and that is going to do it. That is it. Faiso is eliminated in 8th place. He will walk away with $69,000, but pretty frustrating final table for him, I think, Nananoko. Had a couple big hands early on, raised, didn't get any action, and then just kind of went quiet and lost a whole bunch of pots.
And he busted up before Donals and Justin Bonomo. That's got to feel a little bad too, right? Yeah, he didn't come in at the bottom. He came in the middle or bottom middle. So it definitely a bad performance for him today. But we didn't know who he was, so it is what it is. Ramashka shows 2 kings, 3-betting Arthur. I feel like Arthur and Ramashka's got a little thing going on here, right? Like they're just like emojiing each other.
I mean, the Russian connection. They're just having a good time. They have all the chips right now. I mean, Arthur and Ramashka have way more chips combined than the rest of the table. Like, I feel like even Ramashka, like if you would take Arthur out of the equation. No, okay, it's close, but not quite. Justin Bonomo is going to go all in with the 10-8. Couple extra big blinds for Arthur. His hand could flop all right, but he decides to fold. Would you always fold there, Nana? 6-5 suited, I think it was.
Yeah, you got to think about the flip side. Sure, you think about the positive. You're an optimistic guy. You're like, oh, well, I can bust out Justin Bonomo. Maybe I hit a straight
Exactly.
flush or something with the 6-5. But on
No,
the
I don't
flip
care
side,
about that. Any six, any five is good. I do not care how I win hands. Okay.
I remember you had that little rant last time. But I want to
Yeah.
say, let's look at the flip side. Imagine you call and double your opponent. He's up to 1.2 million chips. I feel like that's a worse scenario for you, right? Because that's a very playable
Hmm.
stack. Can definitely do some damages. That it's like a martingale, right? You just keep doubling the guy up. He's gonna win the house. You don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it makes sense. I think in bounty tournament it's different. Like if
Oh,
this was a
bounty!
bounty
It's the
tournament,
snap call. Snap
snap
call.
call. Yeah, yeah. But obviously in this tournament, it doesn't really matter who knocks out Justin Bonomo, as long as you get rid of him eventually, if you're Arthur, that is. Didn't really think of him because it's been a long time now, Nanoko, but I did really enjoy having Isaac Hexton at our final table. And obviously he did win it back then. I thought that was an amazing performance by Isaac back then. Anyway, we'll talk more about that after the break, guys. This is already it. We had our pre-show. Well, we had our pre-show. Then we had our pre-show. And now we had 1 hour of poker. We have lost 2 players. We're still with 7 left. We've got a couple of promotional videos and highlight videos prepared for you guys. And after that, we'll be back with the second hour of the final table of number 35 of the High Roller Super Millions. See you soon.
The GGPoker Wildcard Cam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another wildcard cam where Nananoka and I will guess the villain's hand as we are taking a look at one of the hands that happened over at our final tables of the High Roller Super Millions. And we've got Enrico battling it out with Rune F. Enrico's got kings. What will Rune F play with from the button, Nano?
Wow. He must have flopped a flush, right? With hand D, Queen 10 suited.
That's actually the kind of hand I was thinking about too. Something that Rune F would definitely flat from the button. It's a bit lame if we both go for the same prediction. I mean, obviously Enrico did have the king of hearts there. 9 of clubs doesn't really change a whole lot. I guess Nano is going for hand D. You know what? I'll go with hand B, but I think you're right about this one, Nananoko. Now with the 10 of spades on the river, I'm feeling a little bit better about Rune F. Just kind of making the suck out here with Queen Jack. I'm starting to believe. What does Rune F have? Is it Queen 10 of hearts or is it Queen Jack offsuit?
Hello everybody, Daniel Negreanu here with some good news from the GG Poker Network. We've been preparing a promotion for the new year called GG Care. As any poker player might know, sometimes you find yourself in what we call unfortunate situations, some ugly bad beats, right? Well, that's where GG Care comes in. GG Care will take care of you with huge prize pools available every day. Let's see how you can get your GG Care benefits. Aces versus kings. Yep, all in before the flop. I mean, nobody's going to fold that, right? That's just a setup. It's a cooler. I can't imagine being, at the final table of the World Series of Poker heads up and this happening to me. It's just brutal. Bad beats should never be a thing, but they are. Thanks, GG. I flopped the top set. Very nice. Some fucking idiot chases a runner straight to suck out on me. Unbelievable. But in my darkest moment, GG Care was there. Thanks, GG. Flop the second nut set, the middle set on the flop. It's an impossible cooler. How can you be beat there? The guy has top set. Nobody's folding that. Sometimes it just feels unfair. Thanks, GG. As you can see, in the most unfortunate of situations, GG Care will appear for you. Are you curious how to get these benefits? Don't worry, you don't even have to lift a finger. First, simply enjoy the game as usual. Whenever something unfortunate happens, GG Care will be there. Secondly, when confronted with such circumstances, GG Care automatically will register you into a flip-out tournament with a huge prize. Just check the pop-up window. Thirdly, take a rest, have yourself a nap, get yourself a good night's sleep, clear your mind of all the bad beats, and when you wake up, the daily GG Care prizes will be waiting for you. That's all there is to GG Care. Pretty simple, isn't it? Just play the game as normal and GG Care will take care of you. And the prize money will only grow more and more in the future, so keep your eyes posted, and good luck, everybody. I hope you don't have too many bad beats, but if you do, GG Care will be there. Thanks, GG.
All right, guys, welcome back to the second hour of week 35 already of the High Roller Super Millions, where we are left with 7 players. I want to welcome everyone that came over from Twitch or Facebook, as now we are exclusively on YouTube. While you guys are here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Even though the Daniel Negreanu versus Dog Pork Heads Up Challenge has ended, many more cool challenges will happen on this channel in the future. And obviously, the High Roller Super Millions happens every single week. We have one more free roll coming up in, well, a little bit. We'll let you guys know when it's getting close to starting. Nonoko, hour 2 so far. Kind of feel like we are witnessing the show of the Russians. Ramashka and Arthur are definitely on a heater.
Yeah, we're missing some seats on the bottom left area. They're no longer here. Faiso and Niklas Astedt. Guess we're gonna lose 2 guys real soon, I imagine, unless they're gonna double up. Donals and Bonomo are super short. What is supposed to happen is that people are supposed to play tight, right? Because these guys are, gonna get it in. But we got a little special crew here today where they're still gonna play some pots and start being aggressive and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of fun. Arthur is not back from his break yet. Now he finally folds his hand, and look at this. Ramashka Jack 6 offsuit is like, let's just go for it. You got no stack. You can't call. And he does get it done.
It's actually pretty sick for Donals. I really think he would have gone for it with so many random hands, but yeah, 7 deuce is just a little too much.
But I guess you should call with 7 deuce if you're born on February the 7th.
Absolutely. Or on the 2nd of July, then it's an acceptable call. I don't think that's the case. I actually had Donals' profile open before, so I could take a look when he's born, but I guess it's not the February of 7th of February. Let's take a look. Oh no, I can't see when he's born. Damn it.
I don't think that's a fact. We don't really need Roddy. Don't worry about it. I think things will be all right.
Of course. Well, this is it though. Ace-10 offsuit. I think if I'm Oscar Brown, I call. I mean, I know you're probably behind.
At this point, for 3.5.5 big blinds, I would call 2 is just too short. 5 big blinds wouldn't be calling, but 3.5 is you can pretty much
one of those
calling
whatever.
2. Yeah. You got such a big stack.
I mean, you put in 100K, 180K to play for a 600K pot, and you most likely have 2 live cards. I think I'll just make the call.
The price is right. Yeah, that's the correct call. What can I say? Let's just bank us 9 or 7, Oscar.
Well, nope, that's not going to happen. That's an amazing flop for Donals. There is a little bit of hope, though, as the 7 rolls off on the turn. Do we have a 9 or a 7 on the river? Uh-oh. That got close then, huh? Because it was clubs as well, so that was possible. But
yeah, it could have been the 7 of clubs, actually. That would have been nasty.
That does not happen. So Donals doubles up, but he is still the 2nd shortest stack at this table. He's going to need to find another double in the near future, but hey. If you were down to 3 or 4 big blinds and all of a sudden you have 9, it feels like you've got heaps.
2 jacks here. Nice play. We expect David Yan to just kind of fold right now. Sure, he's going to shove good high equity spots. He won't skip those, but like he's not going to take the reckless ones like pocket 4s. Those might go in the muck.
No, you can never fold pocket fours. Nick
Hey,
Petrangelo with ace king
Petrangelo,
suited.
I
think
think
it's a
he's just
three
gonna
bet.
flat. No, oh, he is gonna. It's strange because he's opting to three bet this time, but then when he had two queens against Archer the last hand, big blind versus cutoff, he decides to call, which is it's quite interesting because it almost seems a little bit counterintuitive. But maybe he's more scared of Archer putting him all in pre-flop or
Yeah.
something like that.
Or just balancing out those ranges. Can't always make the same play in similar spots. Nananaka.
I don't know about that one, but possibly. Two deuces. Is this enough to try and flop a set? It is a bad position to be in.
Let's see if Nick Petrangelo opens or not. And he does with the suited ace 5. Yeah. No, Archer lets it go. I wouldn't have minded a call there, but I guess you're not closing the action and it does suck a little bit. Especially since Ramashka does like to get a little out of line.
So bottom pair. I think it's worthy of a bet. Your hand's pretty vulnerable. You... Sorry, that made me laugh because Ramashka hasn't done his play yet at this final table. He just freaking went for it and gets it done.
Wow. What? Wait, the Ramashka is a maniac. I love it as well. Just an 0.1 second race. The man does not skip a beat. It's good beat, by the way, for Donals. I mean,
wow.
I know Justin is short, and obviously there is a pay jump, and the pay jumps do get big, right? Next up, it's 90K, but the one after that is 117. But Queen 10 suited on the big blind. It gets folded to the big stacks.
This is fine. He can see a flop here.
Yeah.
If he flops something, great. If he doesn't, no big deal. You're still in a tournament. It'd definitely be the right play. If he jams, it just would never get done. So here he can just let it go. I feel like Ramashka is gonna, he's gonna do something. He's gonna win this pot somehow. I don't know how, but he's gonna win it.
Archer is gonna bet small. Ramashka 0.1 second, 450K. The king of diamonds doesn't really help anyone.
Yeah, it's a tough card for the blinds to bet out on because the pre-flop raiser obviously represents the king a lot more. Ace, king, king, queen. So, maybe Ramashka won't be winning this pot. But, there's going to be another river card. I feel like Archer can't really bet this card too often. He's got to be a little bit worried about Donals. Say he bets and then he gets committed by Donals, wasting it. He's going to fire tiny. If you're going to fire, you got to bet real small. If it's any bigger, he's committed to call a shove, which is terrible against Donals.
Ramashka will let this one go, and Don will let this one go. It means that Archer chips up, creeping towards that 5 million mark. Justin Bonomo can't really do much with his 6-5. So it gets folded all the way to Ramashka. He's going to open things up with King Queen offsuit. King 9 is one of these hands where you probably feel that it could be the best hand against the opening of the chip leader. This could spell trouble, man, for Nick Petrangelo. Because if I'm Nick Petrangelo here, there's no way that I'm ever folding. You obviously don't want to blow up the pot and make it any bigger than it has to be. That's a turn card that's not going to save him any chips, Nano.
Only the ace would save him, really. Ramashka is going to fire again, get called again. I think Ramashka probably going to fire another third pot or half pot on the river, and it's going to be real annoying for Petrangelo.
Oh, what a run out.
Kicker plays too, which is not a good thing, he's gonna call here.
You gotta call. Yeah. It's just one of these hands where there's absolutely nothing you can do about it if you're Nick Petrangelo. But all of a sudden, he did lose 1 million chips there to Ramashka. Arthur hits us with the, oh my God. Justin Bonomo, 380,000 chips. Pocket threes. They've done pretty well, the high roller super millions. Nananoko, the threes.
Yeah, he's just deciding whether he should send or not. He doesn't have any chips. He just got to go for it. And he's the one that's going to hit the blinds before the other short stack, too. So ace 10 suited, obviously going to get it in. We got a nice little coin flip coming up.
Let's see if Nick Petrangelo can get some of his chips back. No, he does not, because there's the 3 of diamonds. And that means Nick Petrangelo is drawing that. Justin Bonomo staying alive. And now close to 1 million. Pocket threes, man. I know that we say that pocket fours always make a set, and that's at every other tournament, but maybe at the high rollers super millions, the real magic is in the pocket threes.
I feel like Bonomo deserved that one just because he's been playing a lot of pots, but hasn't won any of them, right? Like, just give him a little bit of life. It just would have been a disaster for him just to go out like that. But it's been kind of bad last two hands for Petrangelo, losing a good amount of chips here and there.
Man, imagine if you went for Ramashka when it came to the final table betting. You see the guy who comes in as a massive chip leader. He's got over 5 million chips when this final table starts. And for some reason, you're still getting close to 7-1. You're like, you know what? Let's put a couple chips on him. How bad of a bet can this really be? And then an hour in, you're like, let's take a look at how my bet is doing. And you're like, well, I should have bet more. This guy is crushing. This made no sense whatsoever. Hey, Justin Bonomo could call you. I mean,
he could. So what's coming into play right now, what he's thinking about is how important is the ICM of Dan Oss? 4 big blinds. It's pretty important, to be honest. He does make the call. He's going for the win. Love it.
Justin Bonomo in a really good spot right now to make it all the way up to 1.9 million. Does have the king of spades too. So only one of the 3 tens is going to save him. Oscar that is, and that is not one of the last 3 remaining tens. Wow. Just like that, Nanonoko, Justin Bonomo goes from 400K to almost 2 million. And the rest of the table hates to see it. Donals hates to see it above anyone else. Because now he's kind of in the spot where it's like, well, doesn't really make any sense to wait for anything anymore.
Dan Oss is probably thinking, look, I had 2 chances to see Bonomo bust before me. It did not happen. I think with Queen 10, I'm just going to ship it in. Oh, he does fold, though. I don't know what the right play is with that stack. It's not really a stack size I like to play, you know, the 4 big blind. And I don't make final tables, but definitely seemed reasonable if he had shoved that Queen 10. Because he's going to hit the big blind really soon. And plus, here's the thing. You shove the 4 big with Queen 10, the big blind mandatory calls you a lot. You're going to get in good, actually, a good amount of times.
I'm with you. It's not a dream spot, but I think it's one of those moments where you probably just have to send it and hope that nobody has an ace queen or a king queen. And you're doing somewhat all right. Arthur does flop pretty good here. Flops mid pair and a gutter ball. I feel Arthur is a little intimidated by Ramashka, Nanonoko. I never thought I'd see the day Ramashka with the raise, the jack deuce offsuit raise. You gotta love it. Oh, okay. Well,
that's not gonna work now. But Ramashka's like on another level all of a sudden, right? Like, he's been going a little bit crazy this break.
Arthur just bets into Ramashka. These are some weird hands, Nanonoko. These are not hands that we see each and every single week. Most of our hands play out in a somewhat predictable manner. I mean, you're kind of waiting for the little setups, but Ramashka is making things pretty wild.
They just keep emojiing each other too. It's funny, Ramashka gave him the good game instead of the nice hand. You know, like it's quite a different level. Wow, a walk with 3 deuce offsuit. Ramashka's busy emojiing with Arthur, and he didn't realize what was going on.
And next round, he gets ace king. Now, Arthur Martirosian does have pocket queens. One of the queens got folded there by Ramashka. Donals in a really good spot, I'd say, to potentially double up and get close to 1 million chips. I mean, it's never easy, Nanonoko, but this is as good as it gets. I love that he left 40K behind. I mean, Arthur is not folding there. Well, that's what you get for waving him goodbye already. And one of the queens is dead. So we're basically looking for a 1-outer. It needs to be the queen of spades. That's not the, no, not the queen of spades. It needs to be the queen of hearts. That's not the queen of hearts. And that means Donals closes in on 1 million chips. The short stacks are not going anywhere just yet.
Pocket fours. That's what I'm excited for. I want to see Roddy talk about these pocket fours. Is he going to get a seat opportunity? I don't know. He folded it.
Big mistake.
You're mad. You're mad.
Big mistake. Yeah, I'm literally molding right now. I already have no hair at the moment, but any hairs that I had, they are gone. What? That's well,
That's
would
the best
not
hand,
have.
though.
Exactly. Would have been the best hand. I mean, let's not forget that the last time we saw pocket fours, Arthur did win a pretty big pot with them, right? The 4 of clubs. It's putting on a lot of pressure.
These tiny bets, they keep working, huh? For David Yan, and I imagine this is gonna work unless King 10. King 10 can't do anything here.
Well done. I mean, these spots are very important, obviously. 1 million chips is not a lot, but the moment you start entering the 600 or 700,000 territory, that's where you really feel like you need to get it all in anytime soon. Ramashka opens Queen 10. I believe Nick Petrangelo just folded Queen Jack there.
That's right. You know, Petrangelo, he's pretty icy and aware in some spots, you know. So like he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna get involved right now. I lost a bunch of chips, 2 guys on a million. Let's just wait for good opportunities.
Yeah. And then you have that speech to yourself, and then you get pocket fives and it get folded to you, and you're like, well, okay, well, discipline. Folds the pocket fives too. Oscar Brown can now open things up with his suited ace. I wonder what David Yen will do.
Probably fold unless he thought Oscar was opening very wide, then King 8 suited would be potentially a shove, because we know King 6 suited gets it in there. Well, David actually just calls here. He's a bit suspicious, but he's like, maybe see a flop instead of rejamming. Not a common play, but look at this flop, huh? He knew.
That is flopping the world, right? We qualify this as flopping the world. All right, now you have the universe as David Yan turns the absolute stone cold cocoa nuts. Well, the deuce 3 of spades, but nobody wants to be that guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the nuts. It's actually the
that
guy you want to punch, right?
Yeah, there's always that one guy who's like, actually, that's not the nuts. It's deuce 3 of clubs. I'm like, all right, guys. All right.
Bonomo would have made a straight, actually, on the river card.
Good fold by Justin, because he would have been in a very tough spot here. David Yan does put Oscar all in. It's a bit awkward, right, for Oscar Brown. Makes the call very quickly. Nanonoko, that man had 14 minutes to make up his mind. All he wanted was 0.5 seconds, and he was wrong. Wow. King 8. Man, those suited kings are absolute powerhouses. Ben CB was onto something. I'm shocked.
Yeah, he could have used 14 minutes, but, you know, these guys, they play quick. He's from Monte Carlo. He's like, man, this is not much money. Just make this quick call, see what you got. He did make the incorrect call, but you know, when you play a bit wild, you know, you're gonna go have these big swings, and that was the swing in the opposite way this time.
I gotta say, for our excitement factor, it's good that David Yen gets some chips, because he is a very fun player to watch. If he can just build a little stack up to 2.5 or 3 million, I'm pretty sure we'll get some fireworks. As Justin Bonomo is very casually betting his deuce here, hoping that Arthur just lets him have it. Arthur is having none of it. Hey, the deuces do make a full house. It's a pretty crappy full house, Nanonoko, but having a boat is still nice.
I would like to see Bonomo check. It's hard to get called by a worse in this spot, but he might be able to pick off a bluff from a naked club like this. He's actually still going to value bet it, though. I guess against some ace highs, though, would just get raised pre-flop. That's the reason why I like checking a little bit more. The hands he's trying to value bet is just less like, oh, 2 aces.
And now you're kind of like me, because the rest of the table doesn't have a lot. Justin may open his king 9, but then Arthur is going to raise, Ramashka is going to fold, and Justin is going to fold. I don't think we get a lot of fireworks here in Nanonoko.
But you get a little bit of chips, always nice. It's the worst when you raise and, you know, they just all fold, you know, like that's the minimum value. Well, not the minimum, as that guy would say, right? You could get a walk, I guess.
As we have been live for almost 2 hours now, let the people know, how is our prediction game going? How is your pick performing tonight, Nanonoko?
Well, I don't see him anymore. Where'd he go? Where did he go?
Where did he go? I am starting to see a trend. Like, you started off hot with the prediction game, but over the last few weeks, I feel like it's all been ruddy. Justin makes the... Oh my goodness. Well, I take everything back. I promise no fireworks. We're going to get a lot of fireworks because Justin Bonomo hits a flop that's very similar to the flop that David Yan just had. With David Yan, we had the ace of the correct suit on the turn. Arthur Martirosian will keep betting. Nanonoko. Justin is not going anywhere.
He's definitely not going anywhere. The question is, do you raise or just call here? I'm not really too sure what the best play is because the pair of nines is a bit vulnerable. And he's turned the best hand. How disgusting is that? King nine suited, potentially cracking the two aces.
Well, that's it. All in and a call. Obviously, there's always outs. An 8, a 4, or one of the last two remaining aces is what Arthur Martirosian needs. That's a 9, so it's a full house. It's another boat, but a much better boat this time for Justin Bonomo, who now chips up to 3.7 million chips. I cannot believe that pot got that big. Those suited kings, Nanonoko, those are the real powerhouses in poker.
That's right. The king 6 suited, the king 8 suited, now the king 9 suited. Oh, wow, that's a huge pot, man. People just keep giving Arthur Martirosian action when he's got two aces, right? Limitless gave him action with the ace 9 suited. Bonomo gave him action with the king. This is suited nines. That's what it is. But the king 9 suited got it done. Wow, it's so sick. Archer's got that crazy of an image, huh? Like they're just giving him action.
Such a sick flop as well. You flop top pair and the flush draw, then you already think you're good, but you're not actually good. And then you make two pair on the turn, and you're like, well, now I'm good. Like, what can possibly beat me? Obviously, the aces did have outs, but Arthur did not hit. Man, Justin is now second in chips, Nanonoko. That's unbelievable. He was down to, what was it, 350, 400,000? He's up to 4 million now.
He's 10x the stack. What is this? Ramashka insta 3-betting the 8-5 suited against David. This is a tiny 3-bet, right? This is like 2x. Oh my god. David Yan is going to pick up a nice amount of chips here. Insta bet for Ramashka.
Yep.
Wild final. I called it before this one started, man. This is crazy.
Oh my god. Ramashka, amazing. He is just blasting away. This is proper punting, mate. I mean, obviously he did flop all right, flopped the gutter ball. Now he's going to be forced to call. And basically needs a 6, right? That's the only thing that's going to help him. Can we find a 6 on the river, or will David Yan get... That's not a 6. That's another jack. David Yan with a full house. He too chips up to 4.4 million. And what a shift in power are we witnessing in the last 2-3 hands of this final table. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, because we were looking at David Yan. We were looking at Bonomo. Both of them were short. One had 350K. One had 1 million chips. They both have 4 million in the top 3 stack. I don't know what's going on anymore. Some crazy hands going on.
I mean, the good news for Ramashka is that he's still the chip leader, and he still has more chips than he started this final table with. So no man overboard, no need to panic, but so fast as well, right? 3-bet, fire. It's like, oh, well, now I guess I got a call now. It's like, oh, you've got a set. It's like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there anything better in poker than flopping a set in a scenario like that, and your opponent is just insta firing at you? Like, he doesn't even let you sweat. He doesn't even let you get nervous. Like, oh, are you gonna bet? No, half pot. It's like, all right, well, fun to play like this.
I think Ramashka, what he needed to do if he was going to make a crazy play like this, was actually re-raise bigger pre-flop, because I'm pretty sure that would have got the 2 7s out of there. So you know what Ramashka was doing though. Really, he was just putting the final table betting on their feet, right? Like they're like, oh, this is too easy, smooth sailing. He's like, let me just go crazy, punt off a couple million chips, and he's still, because look at the odds. You can see right under my webcam right now, right? 6.2. But man, he had 8 million chips, but I guess he didn't lose. He only lost 20 big blinds. It could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a lot worse. Unfortunately for Oscar Brown, things are not really going his way anymore. Let's not forget that he had over 3 million chips. Ramashka could lose a few more chippies here in Nanonoko. This is going to open things up with the suited ace-10. But Nick Petrangelo has pocket kings.
Yeah, wow. Jeez. I feel bad because I feel like Ramashka is going to see a flop here. I guess he wouldn't jam, so it can't be that bad. He does flop a little straight draw, but no backdoor club. If
Yeah, but
Petrangelo bets the right amount, though, he's going to get action. He's a
the
bit like
problem is
300K.
2 of the 4 outs are gone. So, I mean, obviously we still have the aces. The aces are good too.
Wow, snap calls.
5 of
Unfortunately,
spaces.
that's like, yeah, can't continue. Ooh, free roll time, isn't it?
It is indeed free roll time, Nanonoka, but let's take a look at how this hand plays out. I guess Ramashka will just fold, cannot call that. Okay. Oh, well, he was at 5.9 million, no man overboard. Now it's going drastically down as he chips down to 4.9. Guys, our last free roll of the night is starting. Let me just take a look at the password for y'all real quick. In 10 minutes, we are giving away $25 tickets to one of the GG Master events. The password for our final free roll tonight is GGTV. One word, all capital letters. So GGTV is our password. Just head over to the GGPoker client and find it in the free roll section. Good luck.
I haven't seen such a crazy drastic swing in chips. And so it's like we only had played like 5 hands and everything has changed.
Since I thought you were going to say since Kotelnikov against the guy from Uruguay. Nothing will ever top that, but this was pretty crazy too.
We've actually had some of the most fun heads up matches in Super Millions, like just so many over. I wouldn't say at least 10 of them have been super crazy, right? Like they've all been pretty good, but like some of them are so crazy, like you just can't believe the hands that happened in them.
We are witnessing a meltdown here. Ramashka firing a million with 9-5 offsuit. I mean, can he possibly get David Yen to fold? I think he just called on the flop with absolutely nothing, and then just
let out the
blasted
turn.
it. Yeah,
Oh
and he
my
gets it
God.
done. He gets David Yen to fold. Okay, Nanonoko, I am done for tonight. I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna take another look at this hand, but I believe that he just floated the flop with absolutely nothing, and then just let out on the turn, and then just blasted away a million on the river, and somehow gets him to fold.
He got him to fold top pair too, and
Yeah.
maybe David Yen hasn't played with Ramashka a lot or something, doesn't know what's going on, but Ramashka's been playing a lot of pots and just splashing away. Didn't David Yan realize that? He actually won all those chips. He saw him play 8-5 suited. How did he fold the 8-7 there?
I don't know. I'm taking another look at the hand. So Yan was
Yeah,
the pre-flop aggressor.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
Ramashka raised on the flop, actually.
By
So
the
he
way,
che-
Ramashka is firing away with Queen Jack high. The guy has the nuts flush now, but yeah, it seems like sometimes the pot nothing's going to happen, and all of a sudden it's crazy while we're talking about something else.
Mhm. Yeah, tonight the hands that you expect to go crazy don't go crazy. And then some of the hands where you're like, I don't think too much is going to happen. All of a sudden there's 2.8 million in the middle. So what happened with the 9-5 hand is that he just check raised him on the flop with absolutely nothing, Nano. Absolutely nothing. And David Yan made the call, and then he just let out on the turn when he did make a pair of 9s. And then he just fired a milli on the river. Ramashka is a maniac.
Yeah, like do you remember that one final table where he came in 9th place? He was just trying to get all these ladders and stuff. Like it was like this guy. You give him chips, he's a different player. I tell you that, man. Like he's crazy. He might be one of the craziest players at our final tables.
I mean, Bean Boozled is watching this, and he's like, finally someone who knows how to play poker the way that I play poker. And I think that's the only one who came really close, Nanonoko.
2 6s. I think you just got to go for it. Unless you're trying to outladder Donals.
Mm-hmm. And I guess if Oscar Brown goes for it, do you think that Justin always has to fold 6 big blinds?
I think so. I think he would have to fold. Oscar's like, nah, I'm done with this tournament. He needs to sit back in. He's got 2 7s. Hey, oh no! Oscar times out the last hand.
Meanwhile, round 2 fight between Ramashka and David Jan. Don't blink, guys, or you miss all the action. Like, we're already at the turn. Nanonoko. We didn't
Yeah.
finish a sentence and we're already at the turn and he's betting half a milli. Ramashka is the sickest. Okay. Mr. Gamble was like, for a long time, our favorite. Ramashka may very well just be the new Mr. Gamble over here.
Yeah, I want to see Ramashka do well. Wow, it's just some funny stuff happening at this final table, and I'm loving it. Ace 9 suited. I think you just go for it. Let's play. Let's find out who gets the pay jump. Go to war with the guy at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yep. And I mean, Oscar Brown does have the best of it, but 2 of his spades are dead. Obviously, one of the 10s is dead too for Donals. I have the feeling that Donals wins this. I don't know.
Well, Bonomo wants to come. He wants to get in on this fun. He's calculating the odds,
What?
and he's going to get in on the fun here. 3-way all in with 3
Oh.
marginal hands, Roddy.
Donals is like, can I fold? Can I fold and get a pay jump? Does Justin Bonomo
That's-
have aces? No,
That's what
you
he's
can't
thinking
fold.
about.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
you
the
can't.
reason I'll tell you this,
No.
right? The reason
All right.
you do that play is think about these plays. He's still gonna call. Oh my god.
All right, nobody flops anything. Means the ace is still good. A 3 and it's all over. Well, now we need a 3 to chop it up. Otherwise, Oscar Brown takes it all. That is not a 3. That's too many pips for a 3. So it's a 6. Well, that's it for Donals. He will be eliminated in 7 plays. And Oscar Brown, Nanonoko, doesn't just get the pay jump. He gets a pot of 2.1 million chips. What did you want to say about like why you're thinking about it? But you can never fold there though, right? With the 80k chips left.
Oh no, I was just saying the reason people do that kind of all in, not all in play is because some other guys getting all in, they can get some pay jumps.
Mhm.
Think it was something to think about for sure. The Queen 10 suited. I don't know what. I've never really ever seen one do it, but it is kind of why you would make that play. There's a
I
chance.
think
I
only-
actually don't know. I don't know what the right answer is for that one, to be honest.
I think one more guy needs to be involved. Maybe that, but even then, I would say you gotta play it because there are so many chips in the middle, and Queen 10 of Hearts can flop pretty big. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm-
you
I'm
can
not
have a fold.
I mean, look, it's not a play I do, so I don't have to worry about that thing. But I think that's the reason why they do it. Anyways, Ramashka is going to raise here, blind versus blind. He's got ace king high. He doesn't have anything, but he's just snap. He might be the fastest player ever.
He is the fastest player. He might give you a run for your money, Nanonaka. He's like,
No, for
Nanonoko,
sure,
play
he-
24 table, I play 48. It's easy.
No, I mean, like, look, I would not be playing this final table this fast because there's a lot of money on the line, right? I want to play my best, and this guy's just blasting away.
Poker is easy game. Raise or fold. What's to think about, eh?
Okay, here's an interesting one. 2 7s and 2 8s. 2 7s just lays it down. Actually, so now, having said that, I'm like, okay, that's an interesting fold. We look at the stack size. Everyone's actually pretty even besides Ramashka.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
this
don't
should-
really have like an ultra short stack anymore.
Yeah, we just lost him. It's funny because you didn't give him his love for how much he won. Busting out in 7th place here.
Yeah, and Dan just couldn't do a lot tonight. Honestly, he's been pretty card dead. Never really had an opportunity to win a whole lot of chips. This is one of these final tables, and since he came in as 8th place, if I recall correctly, yeah, only Niklas Astedt entered the final table with less chips than Dan. 7th place, obviously not great, but I think this is one of those. It is what it is evenings, and you gotta be happy with what you get. Obviously, the blinds go up at these final tables, guys, by the amount of hands we play. You can always see that in the top left side. And since the boys are playing so fast tonight, there is a chance that we're entering the dangerous blind levels real soon. Because Ramashka still has 14 minutes and 21 seconds left on his shot clock. Maybe he doesn't see the one. Maybe he's got blurry vision. He's like, only 5 minutes. I need to act quick,
Look, I'm pretty sure not too long ago, Ramashka was at 7 million down to Potentially
4.
3 million. If he got called with
Yeah.
that bluff, he would have 3 million.
Mhm.
Now he's at 7 again. Like, and then I'm thinking, okay, he must have coolered someone, right? No, he did not cooler anyone.
Wait, that check raise, like we didn't even really realize that, but the check raise with 9-5 on I don't know what it was, like ace queen 4 or something. It's like he's just check raising absolute air.
What is
And
this
somehow
play? Look
wins
at
a big
this.
pot. Yeah.
Ace deuce 3-betting bottom. Archer's mad. He's like, I'm gonna get this guy, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Ramashka thinking about all inning. He's like, this is the most difficult decision I've had all night. Do I jam it for 7 mil?
He's like, you guys are making me fold queen 10 of clubs. You guys better have something good right now.
Yeah. Well, Justin Bonomo will make the call with ace jack of spades. Flop doesn't really help either player, but Justin probably still kind of likes his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't love it, but as long
Yeah.
as Archer is 3-betting some trash, then he wouldn't mind it. Archer's might be wondering how do you get in this pot. But if he saw his opponent call a 3-bet with king 9 suited, that means he's calling with some other stuff. Does
The
check.
check's got to give you some confidence if you're Justin Bonomo, though, right? Like, okay, sure, you can get trapped, but more often than not, I have the feeling that all of a sudden your ace jack, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, you definitely get to at least see that free turn card. So Arthur just ace deuce high. Does he want to bet? Does he want to check? I don't know, man. Like it's this tricky spot, right? Because he started to hand up 20.
You call
He's just trying to
this.
bet out and fold out like random ace, like ace 4, ace 5. That's what he's trying to fold out right now. The queen jacks, the jack 10s.
Exactly. Some of those suited connected cards. Justin Bonomo does make the call. I mean, Arthur, if you want to bluff this pot, mate, you're going to have to bet a lot bigger than that. Justin Bonomo is not going to fold for 250,000 chips. You got to pretty much go all the way. Instead, he gives up. He checks. Justin Bonomo may feel like he needs to bluff here, but we know he doesn't. He checks back and will receive the good news that his ace jack is good. The jack does play. That's a big one, man. And Arthur is really cooling down tonight.
Yeah, he's up to 4.5 million. Pretty sure. Didn't we say he had 350K? What happened? Oh my god. King 9 suited. That's what happened.
Yeah, that was a big one against aces. Why? I feel like often the most crucial hand of the night often includes like aces or kings getting destroyed. Like last week we had it with Bert Stevens and his kings obviously losing against the king 6. And Arthur Martirosian. It does do something with you mentally, right? Nobody likes losing big pots, but I feel losing big pots with aces is just the worst for a poker player. Where it's like, it's just not my night. I can't even win with aces.
It's worse at a 10K final table because like you feel so unlucky, right? It's a terrible feeling. You always, if you're a poker professional, you're always thinking, man, how much EV and value did I just lost? Like my expectation was so much higher, and then yeah, what a disaster. Queen 8 of clubs. Let's see a flop here for Ramashka. All right,
Yeah,
he's trying to finish off the Russian.
Our production crew already gave us the heads up that it seems to be an internet connection issue on the side of Nick Petrangelo. So he's going to sit out for a little bit. Hopefully he will be back soon, of course. We don't like to see people sit out at final tables. We have seen great sportsmanship across these final tables in the past. And some of the guys were disconnecting. Players were like actually burning some of their own time bank, giving players time to come back in time.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I don't think Ramashka has a slowdown button, so I don't think he'll be the one that will use his time bank for someone sitting out. He's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to play quicker. He actually can't play quicker. But he outflops Martirosian here. Ace Jack, he might think it's good. It's tricky out of position.
I mean, it was good for Justin Bonomo last hand, but it's not good for Arthur Martirosian in this one. Ramashka is also the crusher of dreams, mate. Where I think does show the 8. He's like, I had it. It's like sometimes when you make like a marginal call, you're like, oh, let's hope he checks back on the turn. And then it's 0.1 second, your dreams get shattered because he just blasts away into you again. You're like, well, that was it. Arthur pretty much all in here with the ace-10. Obviously, Justin is not going to give him any action, but I think Justin is doing the nice thing here for Nick Petrangelo, right? Trying to give Nick Petrangelo some time to reconnect. I honestly have so much respect and admiration for how honorable these guys are. They're playing for tens and thousands of dollars. Some, obviously, if you get deeper, even 100K plus. And they are so nice to each other. They're like, yeah, they want to win. They want to win at all costs. They want to make crazy plays, but they don't want to win because somebody is having, issues connecting to the website. So they're even burning some of their own time bank. Honestly, very, very wholesome experience, Nanonoko.
I agree with you. I think that is definitely what he's doing. At least using his default time bank. He did use some in shot clock here.
Yeah.
But we have seen guys needing that shot clock later in the heads up play. But it's beautiful to see. It's gonna jam this 10-4 suited in. Nice. That's aggressive, huh? Was he born on April 10th?
4th of October, Nanonoko. Come on. Arthur now asking what's up with Nick. People realizing that Nick Petrangelo is indeed sitting out. Justin once again taking his time. Nick says internet is perfect, but he can't connect. All right.
Thank you for describing that. I got that
one. Well, hopefully Nick Petrangelo will be able to reconnect real soon. Obviously, we hate to see it at the final table of the High Roller Super Millions. Ramashka is going to defend the 9-4 offsuit and flops best against Ace King. Mate, Ramashka is my new favorite. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, yeah, that is an aggressive call. There it is. Petrangelo's back.
Yeah, let's go. Shout out to Justin Bonomo, man. That's very, very respectable of him. I think taking his time, not trying to play hands, and does actually get Ramashka to fold his pair of nines here. All right, players having a little chitty chat with each other. Ramashka is like, "Welcome back. Have a walk." And Nick Strange is like, "Thanks, guys. I appreciate it." Did I get any other walks while I wasn't playing? It's like, no, Nick, you did not, but that's the only one. Thank you. I love it.
Oh, so if Jack 9 goes aggro and just jams here, Ace 9 could find a call here. I think this is a call. 15 big blinds, big blind versus small blind. I would go for it. Yeah, Ace 9 is way too strong here. Wow, he folds.
Oscar Brown makes the fold. I mean, sure, Arthur Martirosian is shorter, but I'm with you, Nanonoko. It's not a dream spot, right? You're not in love with it. Like Ace Queen, Ace King, you love it. Ace 9, you're like, oh, maybe, but you just have to make those calls. If you want to win the tournament, you absolutely have to make those calls.
Yeah, I would love to see that call. I feel like it's just too strong. The thing is, the small blind would jam probably any ace that way too. So you're dominating way more aces than aces that dominate you. Plus the fact that sometimes of ace kings, ace queens, they go for a different play than just open jamming. I think it's the wrong play, but maybe Oscar Brown, he just doesn't play these tournaments as much. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm a big stack, deep stack player. It's quite different.
And I mean, even if Nick Petrangelo has any of the smaller pocket pairs, right? Deuces, threes, fours, fives, sixes, sevens, eights, you're still flipping against those too. Sure, it's a very big flip, and then maybe it's not the flip that you necessarily want to play for, but I'm with you. And then obviously all the king X's like king jack, king queen, king 10, they probably all jam too. Because the blinds have been going up pretty quick. I mean, we're at level 34 right now. Shout out to Ramashka for playing 17 hands a minute. I think you got to make that call.
17 hands a minute. That just amused me. Let's see here. Bonomo has been doing great. He's going to shove again into Arthur. I feel bad for Arthur. I feel like he was crushing. He was cruising.
Yep.
Ever since that aces hand, though, it's been a disaster.
No matter how many dollars you may have won on the GG network, losing a massive pot with aces at a final table does something with you, Nanonoko. Even to Arthur. I think the only man who would be completely unfazed by it is Ramashka. Because he will just look at 9-5 offsuit the next hand and he's like, It's pretty good.
You're like, I'll find a way to win those chips back.
Yeah. I mean, don't think we're really going to get any action here. Obviously, Nick Petrangelo is going to fold too. That's a little too much for the King Jack offsuit. Arthur is having fun with his emotes, and he loves the Daniel emotes. He's not using any Elke emotes. He's loving the Daniel emotes.
Yeah. What you personally, do you have a preference over the Daniel Elke? I like the Elke emojis.
Yes.
I think they're done really nicely.
No, I absolutely use the Elke emotes over the Daniel emotes pretty much all the time. But I gotta say, the standard emotes are really good too. Like, they're actually really good. You know what's funny? It's like I was watching a poker stream a couple days ago, and the stream was playing on a different platform, but you could use avatars there too. And somebody used the not sure if emoji of GG as their avatar on a different poker platform, and I was just giggling looking at it. I was like, yes.
Okay. I think, do you think Ramashka calls here? He strikes me as someone who might call this one. He does
Okay.
snap call.
I did not think he was going to call. I thought that was a little too much, but Ramashka doesn't give a damn. We are flipping. Sixes are still good. Any aces or kings? Yes, there's the king for Oscar Brown. That is a monster pot. 4.3 million. That's not a six. Too many pips. Wow. Hello, Oscar Brown. Gets ace king for the second time in like 4 hands. And hey, maybe folding the ace nine was the right thing to do after all, Nananeko, because he's at 4.3 mil now.
And Ramashka down to 5. What a roller coaster for him. And only Arthur is short now. 10 big blinds.
And these hands are very annoying as well for Arthur Martirosian, right? Because you see the flop and you're like, pay jump. And then you see the king in turn. You're like, oh, come on. Well, pocket tens. There's only one play. And that is to pretty much all in, but then leave a little bit of chips behind, but then still go all in. Because we're never folding pocket tens anyway.
Yep. I'm waiting the day when we see the guy actually just fold when there's another multiple all-ins behind him. That's what we want to see. Because otherwise, you guys are just wasting our time with this halfway all-in. Maybe it's to confuse people on what the actual bet size is.
You know, Mashka, it's like, you know, the sixes were not great a couple hands ago. He's like showing them as well to the table. He's like, hey guys, I had sixes again. I love Ramashka. He's just having way too much fun playing a final table for $400,000 on top. 433 or 430,000 at top. TLDR, it's a lot.
10-7 has to be good enough to see a flop for this guy. And bottom of another marginal situation. Just doesn't flop that well. Besides the king nine suited, he's actually hasn't flopped well at all.
You know, I was watching one of the shows of Jeff Platt, and they did mention that 10-7 was Daniel Negreanu's favorite hand, Nananoko. You made fun of me for bringing that up a couple weeks ago. You said it doesn't sound right. They said it too. So I was correct.
Okay, well done. Did they also say that Rotterdam says that the fours always hit a set? Because that's what would make me really laugh if someone else said that.
I don't think they said that. People are not aware of it yet, but that's okay, Nananoko. I'll just keep flopping sets in all the tournaments. And if everybody else wants to fold sets or you want to be Ben CB and fold quads, it's all good, you know? Like, it doesn't bother me, Nana.
Can you imagine how many people are just punting off of king six suited right now? Like ever since that stream. They're like, well, he rejammed this spot and they just keep busting out. Like all the EV that's been made of king six suited has been done. It can't run any better than that anymore.
It's funny as well because Ben is such a chill guy. And when he hit it, he was just like, wow, we scooped the pot. Unbelievable. Like I would jump, I'd be like, oh my God. And Ben is like, king six. Like, yeah. I just thought that Bert Stevens was getting a little out of line, opening too wide. He had kings, but yeah, we got him. Let's take it from here.
Yeah,
Would
that
you jam
sounds
ace
super
deuce?
chill.
Nah, right.
No, I think it's a little reckless.
Mhm.
Is it a bad play? I wouldn't say it's a bad play because you usually will just take it down pre-flop. But I feel like Arthur's short enough where you don't need to make that kind of a high variance play.
No, I think you're right. What if it was suited though, Nananaka?
Suited always makes whenever I'm not if it's close, suited always puts me along over the line and just like go for it. Suited, I'm all in. You know what? I don't care. If
David
suited
Jen.
pocket fours was the real hand, you would bankroll on it.
Mate, I don't know if I would play on any website where I can get a suited pocket four. I'd be like, all right, this is it. This is where I draw the line. David Jan did make the correct call on the flop with his bottom pair. Unfortunately for him, Justin Bonomo made a pair of eights on the turn. This always sucks, right? Where you make like a marginal call on the flop and you think you're good, but then your opponent bets into you again. You're like, well, if I called on the flop, do I have to call on the turn? Seems like, oh, that's not a good river card, mate.
So
I'm
Bonomo's gotten he's gotten 2 streets in so far. Can he get another river bet? That'd be pretty impressive, right? Because a lot of people will be like, you know what, you might have a jack, I'm gonna check. This would be wow, he's gonna value bet it correctly. Very impressive.
very impressive, but also in the famous words of Doc Pork, very lucky that he made a pair of eights, right? Because David Jen technically has played a very good hand so far too. It's just, yeah, I mean, you can't really put your opponent on random eights rolling off on the turn. I think he's going to make the call because he has convinced himself that Bonomo has nothing.
I think it's very possible too. There's a lot of straight draws. Could be just random hands. It is blind versus blind.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think his 2 of diamonds matters that much. So he does make the call. Here we go.
I mean, I gotta
Beautiful.
say that's a brutal hand. Yeah, beautiful by Justin, but also a little bit fortunate, Nano, that he did make the pair of eights. And obviously he played the rest of the hand perfect. I'm not hating on Justin Bonomo at all. Very well done by him. But feels a little bit bad, man, for David Jan, because I think he played a good hand too. Just unfortunate.
It's just a very nice value bet. And a lot of guys just wouldn't get that kind of value. That's why Bonomo's one of the best. You know, the thing though is, with the final table, with the beginning, we were like, who's going to win? I was like, I should pick Justin Bonomo, but I'm going to go, oh my God, he's going to win it, isn't he?
Whenever if you say that, Nanonoko, I think he is like 2 hands away from busting. So I wouldn't start feeling too bad yet about picking Niklas Astedt tonight, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Lena 900. Never again. Never again. Makes me look stupid. All right, top pair, top pair.
Bad news bear for Ramashka, but he does have outs. A 6 would be good. A 7 would be good.
A 4 would not be good.
It's an easy call for Oscar.
So look who's in second now and in first.
Is it Oscar Brown?
Yeah, Oscar's in second. Bonomo's in first. Ramashka's in third. Archer's in last. My gosh. Well, not last, but close enough.
Yeah, that's real close. Share at last. Arthur Martirosian and David Jan both very short at this point. Do you think that if Justin opens here, that Arthur thinks of jamming?
I think so. He expects the chip leader to open a lot. He's had enough of Justin Bonomo cracking his aces. They've been battling a bit, actually. I think this King Jack's going in. It's got a lot of fold equity still. I know it's like 9 big blinds, but against a chip leader, it's definitely reasonable.
But now, since he didn't really go all in, could you pay 500K to play for 1.8 million chips? I kind of think the answer is yes, Nanonoko.
Well, I would say at this point it's practically a shove because you wouldn't be folding any flop besides like an ace flop, I guess.
Ace king.
Yeah, ace king, something like that. We'll see. Let's see if things change. Okay, so Ramashka is now no longer the chip leader. Does he play a little differently? I don't know the answer to that, but he was playing 40% VPIP while we were full hand, like a lot of people at the table. He's not even second place. He's in third.
Neither player flops a whole lot here, even though there are a couple of backdoors available. I do want to let all of you guys know, if you joined us later tonight, that Ramashka started his journey by playing $100 satellite, qualified for the $1,000 satellite, qualified for the main event, so turned $100 into 10K. Then he busted and he rebought, and then he busted and he rebought again, and then he made it to the final table as a chip leader, and he's playing like an absolute mad lad. I would really, really love to see a day in the life of Ramashka. I feel like that would be a glorious documentary.
Yeah, he's probably got like some grizzly bears hanging out at his, I don't know, his cabin or whatever it is. I love the guy. He seems like a great like character out there.
I feel like Ramashka is the kind of guy who like wakes up with all the right intentions. He's like, today I'll behave. $100 satellite, That's all I play, honey. And then he plays. He's like, oh, we qualify for next stage. And then like fast forward 24 hours later, and he's blasting away at the final table with 9-5 off. Like, how does this make any sense, Nenonoko?
Yeah, for such a crazy player, and he's a profitable player, right? Because he's reached our final table before, and
Yeah.
he's obviously still going to get a nice cash here today. We've got great players who are not profiting in the Super Million so far. So Ramashka, you can stick it to all those guys.
It's pretty funny board, right? David Yen does have 2 pair,
Yeah.
but it's the ugliest 2 pair mankind has ever seen. And Nick Petrangelo has a straight, a Broadway straight, but it's also not the prettiest one. But we know it's good.
Yeah, what a board. I think the Queen Jack's got the showdown value. I would just keep checking. You still beat the. Oh, he's actually.
Wow.
Okay. I think that's a bluff. Not 100% sure, but he just lost chips.
Well, guys, that is going to do it for our second hour here at episode 35 already of the High Roller Super Millions. Nano is off to the races. I'm going to take a little break too, and we'll see you guys again in 5 minutes. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
The GGPoker Wildcard Cam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another wildcard cam where Nenonoko and I will guess the villain's hand as we are taking a look at one of the hands that happened over at our final tables of the High Roller Super Millions. And we've got Enrico battling it out with Rune F. Enrico's got kings. What will Rune F play with from the button, Nano?
Wow. He must have flopped a flush, right? With hand D, Queen 10 suited?
That's actually the kind of hand I was thinking about too. Something that Rune F would definitely flat from the button. It's a bit lame if we both go for the same prediction. I mean, obviously Enrico did have the king of hearts there. 9 of clubs doesn't really change a whole lot. I guess Nano is going for hand D. You know what? I'll go with hand B, but I think you're right about this one, Nenonoko. Now with the 10 of spades on the river, I'm feeling a little bit better about Rune F just kind of making the suck out here with Queen Jack. I'm starting to believe. What does Rune F have? Is it Queen 10 of hearts or is it Queen Jack offsuit?
Hello everybody, Daniel Granu here with some good news from the GG Poker Network. We've been preparing a promotion for the new year called GG Care. As any poker player might know, sometimes you find yourself in what we call unfortunate situations, some ugly bad beats, right? Well, that's where GG Care comes in. GG Care will take care of you with huge prize pools available every day. Let's see how you can get your GG Care benefits. Aces versus kings. Yep, all in before the flop. I mean, nobody's going to fold that, right? That's just a setup. It's a cooler. I can't imagine being, at the final table of the World Series of Poker heads up and this happening to me. It's just brutal. Bad beats should never be a thing, but they are. Thanks, GG. I flopped the top set. Very nice. Some fucking idiot chases a runner straight to suck out on me. Unbelievable. But in my darkest moment, GG Care was there. Thanks, GG. Flop the second nut set, the middle set on the flop. It's an impossible cooler. How can you be beat there? The guy has top set. Nobody's folding that. Sometimes it just feels unfair. Thanks, GG. As you can see, in the most unfortunate of situations, GG Care will appear for you. Are you curious how to get these benefits? Don't worry, you don't even have to lift a finger. First, simply enjoy the game as usual. Whenever something unfortunate happens, GG Care will be there. Secondly, when confronted with such circumstances, GG Care automatically will register you into a flip-out tournament with a huge prize. Just check the pop-up window. Thirdly, take a rest, have yourself a nap, get yourself a good night's sleep, clear your mind of all the bad beats, and when you wake up, the daily GG Care prizes will be waiting for you. That's all there is to GG Care. Pretty simple, isn't it? Just play the game as normal and GG Care will take care of you. And the prize money will only grow more and more in the future, so keep your eyes posted and good luck everybody. I hope you don't have too many bad beats, but if you do, GG Care will be there. Thanks, GG.
Welcome back, everybody, to hour 3 of the High Rollers Super Millions here played over at GGPoker week 35, where Nanonoko will be joining us real soon. We have 6 players left. That's actually quite a lot for hour 3. Most of the time we have like 3-4-ish players left now. At this point it's 6. Obviously we do have 2 short stacks. David Jan is getting very short, and Arthur Martirosian is also hanging in there with 11 bigs. Seems like nobody has a whole lot here in the first round. Hopefully you guys are having fun and enjoying the poker action today. I guess with Justin Bonomo as chip leader, we've got a pretty exciting hour ahead of us. A miraculous comeback by Justin, who was down to 400k chips not too long ago. Got a double up, and the hand after that, he cracked the aces of Arthur Martirosian. Nano is back. Nano, you missed aces against kings.
Did I? And they just chopped it up or something? Like just 5, 4, 6.
Nothing happened. First hand.
Yeah. I'm exhausted. I have to get a coffee. But this is getting me extra excited. We got 6 people left. Crazy stacks too, right? Because earlier I said everyone's even except for Ramashka. Now it's like completely different. We got a guy with like 3 big blinds too. Bonomo's got 2 jacks here. He's gonna trap Archer this time, I think. I don't think he's gonna rip it in.
It's actually funny because we just saw the highlight promo again of the flipping girls, where you have the Jack 4. And now, basically the second hand after the break, we've got the jacks duking it out with Jack 4 offsuit. Obviously not too much should happen here. Feels that Justin thought that maybe Arthur was AFK, and he wants to give Arthur enough time to get back to actually give him all his chips.
I feel like I've done that before. Oh, that's 2. I was gonna say you got 2 aces, right? You see the guy disconnect or something. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna give him the maximum amount of time to come back.
Yeah. Man, I saw. I was watching a stream like this happened 2 weeks ago or something, and someone was legitimately angle shooting in an online poker tournament, which I was like, I never really thought that was something that could happen a whole lot. As Ramashka could be in a bit of trouble here with his 8-6 suited.
Hold that story for after this hand, because this is fireworks, right? It's a big bet too, which might make... Okay, if Ramashka check raised, they could have got in all the way. There's this good
but now he picks up a gutter ball too. He still has a pair. He's a flush draw. He's got a gutter ball. He's got it all. But Justin Bonomo has aces. Oh, Ramashka makes a call, makes strip 8s on the river. Ramashka. And Arthur knows you can just feel these things. Yeah, Justin could check back. I mean, this spot is big enough.
He thinks there's value in jamming the aces.
Well, we've got a new chip leader. His name is Ramashka. He came into this final table as a chip leader, and he now has 9.8 million chips. All of these hands take around 12 seconds with Ramashka, but that's a big one. Man, aces are cursed tonight.
Okay. That was wow. I mean, can you imagine the final table betters that they took their 5-minute break? They're like, yes, Justin Bonomo is on top. We know a lot of money went on him. The odds were great. And the Ramashka guys are like, oh my God, what's going on? Now Ramashka betters are like, well, this is the craziest final table ever. Look at this. It's going to be a two-way all-in.
Hey, is this what you were waiting for? David Yan to fold and get left with 29,000 chips. That is not happening. David Yan, his tournament live is on the line. Well, does flop decent. Needs a 7 or a 5. Needs a 7 or a 5.
4, 8.
That is not it. The deuce is no help. That means this will be the end of David Yan tonight. Had a pretty fun ride. A little bit of a roller coaster for him tonight. Unfortunately, could not replicate that second place he had a couple weeks ago. Will be eliminated in 6th place. And we are down to 5.
You know, I want to see Ramashka shift this tournament. Man, this guy is just so amazing. It's just the fastest player ever. Wow. It's just... and what's amazing, okay, we look at it, right? 13 minutes and 55 seconds of shot clock left. You get 15 minutes. Oscar Brown's got 13:09, but there's a big difference. Ramashka's played 3 times the amount of hands as Oscar Brown. Okay, he's got 44% VPIP. The other guy's got 14%. So you can't just compare like, oh, well, Nick Petrangelo is fast too. He's only played 16% of the hands, and some of the hands he was disconnected. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is just crazy.
Justin Bonomo with a real decision here with pocket sixes decides to go for it, and Ramashka snap calls.
Finish him.
Snap calls with Jack 10 offsuit, and he jacks it. Well, that's a pretty good flop. Jack 10 or a king or a 9, right? Oh my goodness, so many outs. Jack 10, King 9. Nope, that's not it. Wow, Bonomo with the double up.
And Ramashka sweating that card so hard. Oh my gosh. Wow. How?
No. What is happening tonight? I feel like we just got up in the middle of a tornado and we're just like trying to make sense of it all.
Well, I mean, like, you know how some of the spots where I'm always like, it's too much to call, and you always ask me, right? Ramashka's like, I listen to Rotterdam, and I don't even hear a single word Nanonoko says. He just snap calls. He's like, it's enough.
Justin Bonomo with the all-in, ace-8, snap call by Arthur Martirosian with ace-4. And, well, that's going to do it, man. That's a pair of 8s. Yep, drawing that on the turn. And 2 hands, well, what is it, like 4 or 5 hands after the break? We started with 6, now we are down to 4. And Justin Bonomo is back to 5.1 million after losing 80% of his stack with aces. Uh-oh. What a final table.
He had 1.7 million not too long ago. Remember when I said that when he had 350,000? You got to remember, this is a guy that had 3... He's on the craziest... He's doing multiple Lucas Greenwoods in one tournament alone.
Yeah. I'd love to see the chip graph of Justin Bonomo. He's like, it's proper roller coaster. Nick Petrangelo having none of this, putting in a massive raise with King Deuce offsuit.
That was feisty. Especially, I feel like Ramashka's seen a little bit more flops than some other guys. Like that was aggressive with the King Deuce. Petrangelo's like, I want to make a statement.
Most irrelevant fact ever, but it doesn't happen often that we have 4 players left that are this spread out at the final table. I feel like they're often at a corner or 2 guys. I know it's very silly and irrelevant, but this is actually not something we see very often.
Yeah, I feel like Oscar's slightly out of place a little bit, so like a little target. Ace-6 going for it. Okay, when you find time, please finish your story, which I forgot everything you were talking about, actually.
Yeah, the TLDR, Ramashka is going to raise ace king. But basically, somebody was sitting out on the big blind with ace king, and it got folded to the button. And this person just set out that hand. And then it got folded to the button folds and goes to the small blind. The small blind raises because the big blind was AFK. Immediately, the big blind comes back and puts the small blind all in. And the small blind was kind of committed at that point and calls. And then the big blind had ace king suited. And I was like, wow, that's so dirty. What the hell? Like, I did not expect to see that. But
I like that. You know what? I know it's an angle, but think about this. The other guy was trying to take advantage of you sitting out and not getting you the max time to come back in. We know there's guys, right? They like say big blind sitting out, the chip leaders, they're going to raise more often these like big field tournaments, right? Like they're going to steal like the maybe even 9-4 offsuit some crap, knowing everyone's folding, the big blind's folding. Like he just shows up. You know, that's a new move. Maybe that's a new play, is to sit out and
No.
come back and jam.
I like emoji metas and I like fun plays. That one is a little too dirty for me. I don't think I can approve of it.
But that one's a little bit better than other ones in the sense that you're punishing the guys trying to take advantage of you, right? Like we know those people exist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't even blame the fact that those people exist, but trying
Okay,
to
wait,
set
stop,
them
stop,
up.
stop. Look at this, Roddy. Did you see that?
Jack 3
Three bet
offsuit,
Jack-
just 3-bet.
Did you see how fast he 3-bet and what size he used? Oh my gosh. Craziest
Ramashka is a
final.
maniac. He's an absolute maniac. If you would tell me that Ramashka is playing this final table 2 bottles of vodka deep, I'd be like, I believe it. Actually, I absolutely believe it.
Knowing him, he's probably playing on a mobile device too, right? He's just like sliding the thing randomly, clicking buttons. Like, oh my God.
He's laying on the couch under a little blanket with a candle on his head. He's like, oh, raise. Nick Petrangelo putting in a big raise. Oscar Brown made the call, but gets outflopped in a pretty brutal manner.
Well,
pickups.
Outflop has a chance to resuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Does
But
not get there.
you got to see 5 cards, so not a bad proposition. That's what I always think about. I feel like, did I get to see a full run out? I don't feel too bad. Ho, ho, ho. Look at this one.
Yeah. That's a tough spot for Nick Petrangelo. It's a pretty big bet too.
Petrangelo's good at sniffing out bluffs, but Oscar hasn't been out of line lately. So he might accidentally fold the best hand here.
I mean, I couldn't fold. I could definitely not fault him for folding here, but we know he's very good.
What Petrangelo's thinking about is how thin would this guy potentially value bet. Usually it would be like a 7 and only a 7, I would say. And then he's asking, would the 7 have bluffed the turn? He thought the answer is yes. Great call.
That is an absolutely amazing call by Nick Petrangelo, and it's a big pot too. 2.1 million chips heading his way. As he's now closing in on 5 million chips. I mean, Justin Bonomo has been on a big roller coaster, but Oscar Brown has been on a little roller coaster himself tonight too.
All 4 of these guys have been the craziest. Yeah, it's like I feel like so alive and energetic all of a sudden. I don't know. This hand gets my heart racing. And it's a poker tournament, right? It's not a roller coaster. I'm on a roller coaster with these guys though.
Justin Bonomo made the call with Jack 6 offsuit. The worst hand in short deck, guys. Fun fact.
Cool story, bro. Cool story.
You know, now you're a real boomer, by the way, because nobody says "cool story, bro" anymore. You know that, right? Like, you're like the only guy that I know in my entire life that still says that. And I feel like you mistime it too. That's the worst part, because often it's not even a story. Like if I would actually be telling a story, I'd be like, "All right, you can hit me with the cool story, bro."
You're the only guy who says the 4s hit a set every single time. Just throwing that out there too. But as we talk about that, look at this. We know where Ramashka is getting involved. Just how is the question. Oh,
Well,
he flops open-ended. No, the funny thing is, it's not that great of a hand, right? But to me, it's a premium for him. On that turn card is sick.
Yeah. And Ramashka is like, I've been betting all night long. I can bet this. And Oscar Brown is not a believer. He makes the call. Ramashka fires 1.5 million. 0.1 second. Man, this is amazing. He's playing this like he's playing the $52 hyper bounty knockout, the bounty hunters or something.
The speed bounty racer or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Wow.
the 10 big blind speed racer.
And the thing is, he's got such a bad image too. You can tell Ace King High just called him on drawing dead on F4 straight, literally drawing dead. Couldn't even chop it. Ace 3 here will continue, I imagine. Like, it's tough playing against a guy who plays high VPIP and is instantly betting.
Yeah.
You have no timing tells on this guy. Even when he's strong or weak he's still instantly fast. He knows what he wants to do. open-ended now. He's probably going to Instapot it or
1.4
something
mil.
like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's taking a little bit of time here.
He's
Surprising. He's a little bit
tanking.
confused.
Yeah, he's tanking. He's like, what do I do?
Oh, he checked.
Checks it back.
Would have worked, but the hand's not over. He can still fire if he wants to on the river card, and it will work.
No. Gonna check it back immediately, and that means that Oscar Brown wins a very valuable pot to him. Still the shortest stack, but 3 million is obviously plenty. He's over 20 bigs.
So, like, that baby woke up and she's looking at me. Why is Nanonoko so excited talking to a computer? It's because of Ramashka, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, this is a crazy Russian guy sipping on some vodka, playing on a mobile in the desert, in the cold, winter cold with some grizzly bears, and he's just running over these GTO nits, like this is amazing.
It's really funny to like sometimes imagine like where the guys are playing from, and like a guy like Arthur, you just know that he's this could actually be a fun hand. Both players flop top pair and have a flush draw, but Oscar Brown definitely has the best of it. Oh no, Ramashka. Oh no, Oscar Brown makes the call immediately, and Ramashka is in all sorts.
No.
Oh my god, no! This drills
How?
the 8 of clubs, but still needs to avoid diamonds. That's my
He's
god, he
safe.
gets it. He's safe.
can't believe
Unbelievable. 6.2 million chips head Ramashka's way, and Oscar Brown is out while getting it in, being like an 85% favorite.
90% it was roughly. Yeah, it was 88%, I believe. Oh my, that's disgusting. Ramashka's like, well, you know what? I either hit the diamond or I got the best hand. He had both ends covered. It was terrible for him, and somehow drills it on the turn.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
A brutal, savage, wrecked, as they would say in the world of esports. As Ramashka takes down another pot. This is like one of these memes where if you have the high roller super millions at 10, but your favorite hockey team is playing at 11, like you just want to make sure that your final table is done by then, so he can watch. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as the guy like Artur Martirosian. He's playing from a penthouse in St. Petersburg or Moscow. It looks pretty. Ramashka is sitting somewhere in Siberia, in his tiny little house, has a little campfire, lays on the couch, and he's just swiping away for hundreds and thousands of dollars. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's just such insane final table. It's the speed of play, the hands. All right, so we got two clear, crazy professionals, right? Bonomo, Petrangelo, they got the same stack. We got the wild card, Ramashka, the chip leader, who's just going at it. He's got a big chip lead. He's got 3 times their chips.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying Ramashka's gonna finish this off. It just seems like his tournament today. I mean, sure, his plays are reckless.
Yeah,
What?
like when he plays heads up, this is going to be the polar opposite of what we saw last week when Ben CB was playing heads up, right? Small pots, just trying to get the best of it, trying to realize every bit of equity. Ramashka, every single time, he thinks he has a 50% chance of winning the tournament. All in, all in, all in. Like, that's absolutely what is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I guess the question is, who's going to go to heads up with then? Is it Bonomo or is it Petrangelo? And with what stack sizes?
Hey,
2 jacks is going to raise. What's up?
I just realized that you said in the beginning of the show, Nick Petrangelo is going to take 3rd place again because he made 2 final tables and he finished 3rd and 3rd. And here we are down to 3. And you've got crazy Ramashka and all-time legend Justin Bonomo. I mean, the stars are aligned for another 3rd place finish.
That's right. That is right. Petrangelo, amazing player, but he's, in the Super Moons, we got something special, right? Niklas Astedt, destined to get 2nd place, never win a tournament. Petrangelo's going to be destined for 3rd place. We got these special things that you cannot break. There's curses,
I am kind of sad that Ramashka rebought twice, because it would have been absolutely amazing if he would have turned $100 into $430,000. Like, that's a story that could go semi-viral, right? You just don't hear that very often anymore. The modern day Chris Moneymaker story.
Look, I'll tell you this. It doesn't matter how many bullets Ramashka's put in. It's been an amazing run. $100, $23,000. It doesn't matter.
All right. A hypothetical question is Justin Bonomo just puts Ramashka all in with pocket fives. Great play there by Justin, showing us that he's not afraid and he's willing to make crazy plays too. If Ramashka wins this tournament, Nanonoko, today, how many bullets is he firing next week in the high roller super units?
Well, it's pretty much unlimited until the registration closes, right? Yeah, I have no idea. But apparently Adamo can fire 9 times, so like it might be the most ever potentially.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
That's pretty mental, mate. 90K of buy-ins.
it's funny. I'm thinking like, okay, is there ever a time when we can get a little bit of time to talk about some others? No, there isn't, because the speed of action is so fast. The hands are crazy. Sometimes it looks like they don't have anything, but they still get involved. Looks like Petrangelo took that one down. Let's see. Let's open this up. Jack 5 suited.
Absolutely. I mean, the blinds are going to go up real quick like this too. Not only are they making very quick decisions, they're also just very aggressive. Not going to see a whole lot of family pots here.
Yeah. To me, what it looks like is happening at this final 3, or what will happen, and based on the history of so far that's happened, is that Ramashka and Bonomo are going to play a lot of pots to each other. Petrangelo's kind of hanging in there. He's like, one of these guys are just going to bust before me. I don't need to be too reckless. And but it'll be hard for Petrangelo to come out third based on what the dynamic that's going on, right? But it's possible. But these two guys are battling it out. And Bonomo, like we saw him try to value bet those 2 aces despite that top card pairing at the 8-6, right? Like he's going for max value, and he might bust first.
Yeah, like it's impossible to say that that's a mistake, because obviously that is what maybe makes Justin Bonomo as great as he is, as he makes top pair here. But Ramashka has the open ender, and we know he doesn't like to let those go. But
how about a bet in the jam?
Right?
I know. Like we can't talk about other hands, Roddy, because there's always some craziness going on. I love to talk hands with you, but like, my gosh, I feel like something big's coming.
Well, oh my! Well, he just snap calls, but obviously does not get there. The 10-9 whiffs. Is Ramashka crazy enough? Nah, you can't do anything here.
I mean, what if it checks to him? He might just be like, you know what? Go for it. He just got 10 high.
That'd be.
I'm
so
wondering
crazy.
if Bonomo goes for a block bet. He goes for like a 1.2 million. Maybe he's got, he might try to get called by a jack, but also blocks it so he doesn't get put to the test for all his chips. I like this play, but it could backfire hypothetically if Ramashka just goes for it. No.
Oh, he goes. Justin Bonomo now has to make a decision, not for his tournament live, but pretty close to it. A raise of 1.8 million chips.
I feel like his block bet was too small that it was going to induce from a player like this. So he needs to really think about calling. The only problem is there are no obvious draws out there. It's only 10-9, but even 10-9 is a bit far-fetched. The truth is, Ramashka often has a 7 or 2 pair or something good. This is the call of all calls if he can make it. I want to say it's almost impossible to make this call. Like, it's almost impossible because you would expect for this bet size a jack would just call you, queen would just call. How can he call? How?
Because he's Justin Bonomo?
That's Ramashka. He just won that pot. Wow.
I do think you're totally spot on about the sizing on the river there. I like the idea of block betting, but then I think you got to bet 1-1, 1-2, maybe even 1-3. Then it becomes big, of course. But yeah, I think that just it's either a trap or it's weak. And Ramashka smells weakness immediately. Went for it.
Oh
he makes
my
the call
God,
with ace-4 offsuit. Okay, this man has different plans tonight. He wants to get out of here. He's obviously behind, but it doesn't mean a damn thing because this is Ramashka and the 4s are always out there, or a deuce or a 4, and we are heads up. Nope, that's not it. So Justin Bonomo gets back to 5.1 million, like nothing even ever happened.
These two guys, I'm telling you, they're just going to battle out and try to end it. It's very likely Petrangelo is going into the heads up. And it's not because he's busting someone. It's these two guys are going to bust each other. Bonomo, didn't he just lose half his stack?
Yeah. Now he goes back. Yeah. He's got it back immediately. Both players flop a 7. The 9 of Bonomo is good, but there's always a chance that we chop a pot like this up.
It's the funny thing is, usually the crazy stuff happens in the heads up. They're playing heads up with another guy still at the table.
Yeah. The poker equivalent of being the third wheel on the date, where it's like, hey guys, I'm here too.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy there. Oh man, but I mean, this is a pretty small pot, but the 9 plays pretty well actually.
Yep.
It still plays, so I think someone's going to lose a little bit more chips. What a roller coaster for those top 2 guys up there. Like, really, they both have had the usually it's one guy for roller coaster, right? But it's 2 guys at the roller coaster.
I do want to mention again, guys, that when final table betting was still live, even though Ramashka was the dominant chip leader, as Justin Bonomo makes the call there, and he's obviously his 9th place. Ramashka is showing us that he had Jack 3. Cheers, Ramashka. Cool. As Nananoko would say, uh-oh.
But don't talk about that. Talk about this. Ace King suited Ace 10. This is all in, right? Like knowing these 2 guys.
Yep. Ramashka is going to put him all in. And Justin Bonomo will absolutely make the call with Ace King suited. Ramashka needs a 10 or perhaps a straight or a random flush.
Oh,
nope,
bad.
That's not a good flop.
Bad. This is
Needs
bad.
A 10 and a 10 only. That is not a
Is
10.
not it.
It's 4 pips. Wow. Justin Bonomo is now up to 12 million chips. And Ramashka is on the roller coaster of the century. He was up to 14 million, Nananoko. And now he's down to 5.4.
Bonomo was down to what, 1.7 or 2 million not too long ago. He's got the crazy. These 2 guys are so sick. Now, wow, it's just too much is happening. Like, actually, that was like that was 40 big blinds that just went in there with Ace 10 and Ace King. Bonomo sized it perfectly. Actually, his 4x sizing pre-flop actually got Ramashka, I think, to ship it more likely. Because, you know, when you see the bigger bet size, sometimes you're like, okay, let's just get it in. Had he raised a smaller or a limp, you know, things might be a little bit different. But so Ramashka is on tilt. He's just firing away Queen 4.
Well,
if that queen comes off, it's over. That's what I'm saying.
You say he's on tilt, but this is how he's been playing all night long. So I don't know if he's on tilt or not. Just blasting away. Bonomo will probably call here.
He's value betting the Queen 4 correctly. Look at this. Genius play is the best hand.
Bonomo checks. Ramashka will check it back and wins a 3.1 million chip pot with Queen High. Are we going to get an oh my god? Any emotes, guys, whatsoever? No, nothing? Really? This is where we need Arthur. Arthur would have hit us with an oh my god, for sure.
I'm still predicting a Petrangelo into the heads up was one of these 2 guys bust out before him, despite him having only 20 big blinds. My gosh. So crazy.
You cannot backpedal on your initial prediction, Nananoko. You predicted Nick Petrangelo to take 3rd place again, because that's just what he does. And I think it's going to happen.
He might. He's gonna get called. He's gonna get called by the Jack 10 because that would be funny.
No,
not funny. I was gonna say,
if he had 14 million, yes, he would call, because that's just the way that Ramashka has been playing. But with 6 million, you can't do that.
So I'll say this. Now the chip leader normally can raise and steal a lot of blinds, right? And this is a different scenario though. Bonomo needs to remember that Ramashka is playing very loose still. Right? Yeah. He's not trying to outladder the 3rd guy. So Bonomo can't get away with some of the things he might want to open on the button, right? Like, because at this point, maybe he would raise any 2 cards on the button. Against this lineup, in this situation, I would not advise that because you don't want to be playing pots of even like, you know, 5-3 offsuit and things like this.
I'm actually surprised that Ramashka just called there. I had a feeling that he was going to put Nick Petrangelo all in. Wow.
He's going to get value.
Yeah, Petrangelo out-flopped Ramashka, but Ramashka out-turns Nick Petrangelo.
Snap. Yeah, I saw that. You know, Petrangelo's like snap. Any pair is good, but it's not good. Yeah.
This is actually the most memorable final table we've had. I forgot about Bruno Vogtman. I forgot about Bean Boozled. I forgot about Holiday Inn. It's all about Ramashka, the real star of the high roller Super Millions. We have a massive pot unfolding in front of our eyes again.
Great flop for Bonomo. The thing is,
Uh-oh.
okay, the nuts. Wow, Ramashka might still lose chips somehow because he might just want to blast away. Okay, he checks. I don't know if Bonomo can check this. It's just like I think he still thinks Ramashka's still going to put in chips with some other hands. So, wow, he does check. Amazing check.
Oh.
He got his opponent to bluff. Amazing.
Yep. Caught him with his hand in the cookie jar. We'll probably raise though, right? Like despite the fact
He's probably
that the
going to
board is
rip it
paired.
in.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to hope his opponent has a straight, and he doesn't expect his opponent to ever fold a straight, despite the double pair, despite the flush. I still think he's going to raise, because we know Bonomo goes for max value. There's the jam.
Ramashka is like, is ace high ever good here?
Yeah,
it's
like, can I still win?
Yeah, if you have the ace of hearts, you're like, hey, wait a minute, but obviously the flush wouldn't be the nuts anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. Nick Petrangelo still the shortest stack there, Nanonoko. On course for another third place. He might be the only guy in High Roller Super Million history to have 3 third places. That's pretty good.
For his 3 final tables. That's even more impressive, right? It's not like he's not Niklas Astedt where he's got second, 5th, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or whatever, you know? Like, this is 3 for 3.
Blinds go up. 100K, 200K. This is where Nanonoko can calculate the big blinds in a excellent manner.
Exactly. I like the 50, 100,000 a little bit better. It's a lot easier. The 100, 200, it's a little bit extra math.
I have confidence in you, mate. Ramashka opening it up with Queen 10 offsuit. Justin Bonomo will make the call. Uh-oh, both players flop a pair. A queen on the turn would be amazing.
I still think it's potentially a full double up if it comes low card. Okay, that card will definitely change things. I was going to say, because Bonomo would most definitely call down if it came like 5, 6, 3 on the turn. I think he might still pay off the turn, though. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Check. Ramashka casually wins a pot of 4 million chips. And Nick Petrangelo sitting there is like, damn it. Why don't you just bust? You're playing every hand. He's got 52% VPIP at the final table of a 10K. How often do you see that?
You know how, like, in the other final tables, it gets a little dry, some of the action, and they win like a million or 1.5 million chip pot. You're like, that's a big pot, right? Like, every pot is this big minimum. You know, these are even bigger. Every pot's important. Ace-4 suit, I'm curious to see how he approaches this one.
Well, Bonomo is going to race. Ramashka just jams ace-4 suited, but we'll get Bonomo to fold the slightly better ace. But I think ace-4 against ace-6 has an insane amount of chop potential, though.
You got the best hand to fold, and he's just open ripped this ace-9 suited.
His friends are calling him. He's like, hey, Vladimir, hockey game starts soon. 1 second, guys, 1 second. I'm trying.
All right, king, queen. Definitely our hand that's going to bump it up.
I love
7.7 million enough for you? We don't need to make it 800K. 7.7 million.
Ramashka is the craziest. I love it. Bonomo is probably going to open this one up. Petrangelo will go all in. I think it's a little too much for Bonomo to call. I don't think you can. You can't make that.
Bit too much.
If it was like 2 million clean, I think he'd make the call. Right?
Yep.
1.6.
Or, you know, throw those cards to someone else at the table. Maybe it's a call.
Oh, he's got aces. He's got aces. The man who plays every single goddamn hand all night long gets aces. And Bonomo actually has a pretty reasonable hand. We'll just make the call. Flops a pair of 7s.
That's bad news. I know it's just mid-pair, but it's good enough to call down multiple streets against this opponent. The 8's a good card for him, though, because it's quite scary. Maybe he will get away. But for this bet, he'll call again.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if an ace on the river. That's actually
he
not
might still call.
Yeah.
Oh, well checked.
I like what Ramashka did there. Ramashka is like, hey, I remember what happened the last time someone had aces in the board pair. That was actually Justin Bonomo against Ramashka too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I got trips on the river and got all the chips. It's
So it's kind of like he won with it, right? Because like he won the most when he had the 8-6 and against the aces, and then he lost the least when he had the aces. And you know, oh, man, actually he won that one. So yeah, no, he definitely thought about
he
that.
wins
I
everything,
think that's
Nanonoko.
he won it all.
Yeah, he just won it all. All right, another decent pot unfolding here. Ramashka flops mid pair. Seems like the dream to him. Bonomo's forced to fold. I bet Bonomo sitting as like, what the hell am I playing against here tonight? Like this guy is playing it like we're not even playing for money. This could be a big one.
Third place coming up for Petrangelo, right? King Jack suited. He's got to rip this in. This is a mandatory shove. He knows it. Bonomo's going to reshove. And then Ramashka does the curveball and just calls the swap Queen Jack and ends this tournament. No.
A 17 big blind shove from Nick Petrangelo with King Jack suited. Justin Bonomo now making it seem like he's got a real decision, but we know that he doesn't have a decision. He will always call. And then Ramashka is like, all right, maybe Queen Jack offsuit pretty good. He's going to get out of the way. Can Ace King hold? So far it can. That's a very bad flop for Nick Petrangelo. Needs a jack and a jack only. That's not a jack, and that means Nick Petrangelo finishes in third place again. 3 final tables for Nick Petrangelo. 3 times he finishes in third place. And we've got the heads up that we've been waiting for, that we've been anticipating between Justin Bonomo, all-time crusher, and Ramashka, all-time legend at this point, who looks at any 2 cards and says, pretty good.
Yeah, this has been amazing. I mean, I called it at the beginning, right? I said Petrangelo out in third. Before any cards were dealt, he got third place again. Amazing result. But he's had a phenomenal last, like, couple months, I think. He's got 3 final tables, 3 third places, because when he did nothing before that in our Super Million. So amazing run for him. But it's down to these 2 guys, like you said, and it could be over right here. It's a set and an open-ended straight draw. You drop a 9 or a 10, this hand's over.
Backdoor flush draw. I mean, come on. Justin Bonomo can never fold here. Pot size bet by Ramashka with his set of 3s. Bonomo needs a heart, an ace, or a 9. And he gets the heart. I call the backdoor flush draw. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, Nano. But that is a card that Ramashka should be able to get away from this.
Bono was thinking about value betting himself with block. I don't think he'll fold if he gets raised this time. Well, he gets called nice value from the Jack 10. This heads up with super deep, but it's already short stacked now.
Yep. And I mean, we know how Ramashka plays. He's got 20 bigs. This could be it with Ramashka Queen 6 offsuit, guys. It's pretty good. No.
Well, yeah.
No, we should fold this. Well done.
So how much are we playing for, Roddy?
430,000 on top, and I think 332,000 for second as aces again for Ramashka, but Bonomo doesn't have a whole lot. Does flop second pair. So basically it's a 100K difference between first and second.
That's a big match, 100K match. I think the 9-3's got to pay off here. Turn is an 8. He might, you know, there's a chance he just commits still to 3 million.
I like how Ramashka just spots.
The guy's just crazy. Come on.
Yeah. He's got like 900K behind after that bet, by the way. That's kind of funny.
Nice fold. Saved himself.
Ramashka should have obviously bet a little bit less there, guys, but we are done analyzing poker hands tonight because there is no time to analyze anything when we are watching Ramashka play poker.
Check raise. Oh, man. It's a trouble hand here, the Jack Deuce.
Makes the call. Ramashka's still good. You know what I think is happening here? As he just pauses it again. Ramashka is trying to set a new record. He's like, can I win the high roller Super Millions with over 13 minutes left in my time bank? Because that would be a record by a country mile, by the way, guys. Like, I'm pretty sure most people have like 3, 4, 5 minutes left. Some people have no time left. Ramashka's like 13 minutes in the bank. Do I get bonus?
Yeah. You would think, right? There's a 100K heads up match. You start to think like, oh, I got to beat one more guy. Like, no, he's playing the same way he's been playing throughout this final table. He's not stopped. Okay, he's betting out with 10 high, but Bonomo's got double gutter and the best hand, so he probably will call here. He's got definitely got the best hand and punted off a 1.7 million.
Bonomo makes the call. He's like, all right, let's see. It's like, okay, 10 high. I can beat that. Pair of kings is good. Well, Bonomo already had the best hand. 10s against 3 deuce. Ramashka, how crazy are we going to get?
I'm always worried for him. 3 deuce, you're like, nothing's going to happen in his hand. But what if he just like, you know what? Forget it. Let's go. Like, that's what I'm worried about for Ramashka. 2 10s would have had him in big trouble.
Well, he is in big trouble here regardless, but the TLDR is that this man is having the run of his life. He made it to final tables before. This is obviously the deepest he's gone. He's so crazy. Raises with the gutter ball here.
Look at
and
this
the backdoor
check
clubs.
raise.
We know the clubs are no good. Just
Well,
pots it
Bonomo calls correctly
immediately.
with 7 deuce, but his opponent
It's over. Yeah. If Bonomo calls here, it's over, but he folds.
Bonomo can't
Ramashka
call.
lives.
He's not going to call 7 deuce. Gosh, wow, amazing.
Well, folding any pair against Ramashka is a decision, and you know it.
Yeah. Wow. So Bonomo's actually given Ramashka's bluffs extra value because he's bet the flop, called the flop, and then folded to the turn bet. And it's a big check raises. These aren't tiny check raises. Wow, it's crazy. If I'm Bonomo right now, I'm keeping pots small and just trying to hope to pick up something.
How are the Tuesday evenings this fun, Nananoka? Last week, we have a cool story with Ben CB winning. He's streaming it. We're loving it. We're like, this was so cool. And then Ramashka said, hold my vodka. I'll give you guys more fun. He just steamrolls the table. And even though he's out chipped 3-1 now, I think he's still got a chance.
Oh, for sure he's got a chance. You can never count this guy out. Wow. I mean, look, I like the last week's final table. Sorry, it's not as good as this one. And this is not even over.
No, but this one is close to being over. Obviously, we do have another break in 13
10
minutes.
deuce.
But yeah, we're never going to make it for 13 minutes. Either Ramashka will win or he will bust.
Did you see that, Roddy? Did you see that, Roddy? The Doyle Brunson, 23 big blinds. Let's go.
The Doyle, yeah. Well, doesn't flop a whole lot here. Obviously, it would make a straight with a 7, but it would be a very bad straight. Which is why Ramashka decides to let it go.
I wonder what Justin Bonomo was thinking from it. This guy's jamming 6-7 offsuit for a lot of chips.
I love Ramashka.
Bonomo's like, he's confused. He's like, okay, what's the best strategy against this guy? He can't figure it out because he plays so fast, you know? He doesn't have time to think.
Ramashka will check his queen 7 offsuit. Flops a gut shot. Still has the best hand too. And raises immediately. Ramashka is a legend.
Yeah, that was the crazy check raise there too.
No!
What?
No! You know, I said and this is where Ben CB would make fun of me. He's like, why would you say when somebody has 6 deuce offsuit? That's because Ramashka is nuts.
Wow. He just raised half his stack and folded, but correctly, actually. It actually wasn't the correct play, but crazy. Bonomo was confused because he was like, well, if I knew you were going to fold that, I would have just called with 2 aces.
Ramashka could call here. He's the kind of guy to call with 9-7, but does not.
Yeah, he definitely is.
He's got 12 big blinds.
That deuce 6 was ridiculous, man. I mean, come on. Oh, 3-6. I don't remember which 6 offsuit it was.
6 deuce. All right. Bonomo limps here or raises. Ramashka goes all in. Bonomo will let it go. Man, that was like a punt is not even the right word for that, right? Like that is just next level. We need a bigger word than the word punt because sometimes people punt, but that was the next level. Just jams 8-7. Wow. I can't blame him.
This is Ramashka poker. That's what I'm going to call it. Oh my God.
He's got Bonomo dominated here. A suited queen, heads up.
Yeah, of course Ramashka wins the spot. That's why I'm wondering how. How did he...
A Fastest heads up in history. 9 deuce. Bonomo could call here, but he does not. King 6, not a bad place to call, I'd say.
Definitely reasonable, but I'm not sure if he knows how ridiculous he's shoving pre-flop yet. 2 sevens
Oh, he
would
knows.
definitely be willing to commit.
Bonomo
He knows.
Yeah.
He tried to trap him, and he's got a full double up coming with the 10-3 offsuit. Yep, obviously
All
this
in.
is going in. No questions
Bonomo has
asked.
to go all in here.
He's just wondering, is it better to just trap his opponent? He's going to go for it.
Ramashka makes the call. Bonomo needs a 7 or a running straight. Nope. 7 and a 7 only. Paint? Give us paint. Ooh, that could
Close.
have been a 7. Yeah, that was actually a bit scary. Well, the Ramashka does get the double up. 7.8 million. And still over 13 minutes left in the time bank.
To him, nothing has changed. It's still an all-in worthy stack.
Yeah. 10 minutes to the next break, Nanonoko.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
you did not. You did not do this.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't know how
Bonomo
Ramashka... I don't think Ramashka's going to rip it in.
No, he's going to... Oh.
Never mind. Okay, what? Wow, interesting. Interesting.
We cannot predict this man, Nanonoko. We just have to accept that we cannot predict this man. It's just sit back, buckle up, enjoy the ride. That is Ramashka. And let's throw all predictions out of the window.
And the funny thing is, he hasn't used a second of time bank since you told me about his maximum time bank. He still has 13 minutes and 34 seconds. And he's check raising again with nothing. With nothing. Just want to remind you, it's nothing. This time, though, Bonomo actually makes a hand.
Ramashka. Yeah, eventually
Just
you're
call.
going to be in trouble.
Just call Bonomo. There we go. There we go. And
that's it. That is it, guys. It is all over. Ramashka gave us the show of the century. But in the end, the man who wins everything in the world of poker also wins his very first high roller super millions. Justin Bonomo, the biggest name we had at this final table, walks away with $430,000. But I know you don't want to talk about Justin Bonomo. You want to talk about the Ramashka Nanonoko. My goodness. I mean, I hate being the hyperbole guy where it's like, this was the best final table ever, because we've had 35 weeks, a lot of good final tables. This one, ultra memorable. Let's at least keep it at that.
What did I just witness, Roddy? Oh my. Like, this guy, Ramashka, came into final tables a chip leader. Odds were great if you bet on him because he had 2 million more chips than the second and third place guy, right? And we can see why, because he's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. He's either going to win the tournament or bust out first. He almost shipped the tournament. But just too many crazy hands. I can't even remember all of them. But it was basically him versus Bonomo, heads up, despite there being many other players at the table. They didn't. I don't remember anything about anyone else besides Petrangelo getting third again. But crazy. That's absolutely fun. Like, some of the hands those two guys played were ridiculous. They kept on trying to bluff and value bet each other. It was amazing, Roddy. What do you got to say about it?
Arthur Martirosian did lose a massive pot with aces against the King 9 of Justin Bonomo. I remember that. I think that was a real turning point. Right? The King 9 of diamonds with 9 diamond flop or something, and then he made 2 pair on the turn. Arthur lost a monster pot there. Obviously, Justin Bonomo lost a monster pot with aces against the Ramashka, where he made trip 8s on the river. That was a big one. Man, Justin was eliminated from this tournament not once, but like 3 times almost, Nanonoko. He was at 350k chips, ran it all the way up, lost everything with aces, got back up, pretty much lost it all again, and then in 2 hands went from 1.7 million back to 6.1 million to then in the end win the entire tournament. What an absolutely ridiculous final table. I do want to say congratulations to the 130 bettors out there that bet on Justin Bonomo tonight. They have won a total of $54,000 and 500 and some change. Congratulations to you guys. I mean, in the end, this seems simple, right? You look at the lineup of 9 guys that made it to a final table. Then you look at one guy who has won pretty much everything in poker. You put some money on him and he wins the high roller super millions, Nanonoko. Why do we make it so hard on ourselves?
Yeah, real crazy actually, Roddy. Like it was just an amazing run. Like it was very fun to watch.
All right, well, Nanonoko, I know that you had a lot of fun. We'd love to talk a little bit more about it, guys, but we got to wrap this one up. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. We are live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central European Time. And yeah, I mean, I can't promise every Tuesday is as wild, crazy, and fun as this one, but we do have a lot of awesome poker on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, and hopefully we see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
The GGPoker Wildcard Camp.
Now with that 10 of spades on the river, I'm feeling a little bit better about Rune F just kind of making the suck
GG.
out here with Queen Jack. I'm
Mate,
starting
that
to
guy is
believe.
nuts.
What does Rune F
my
have?
God,
Is it Queen 10 of hearts or
crazy.
is it Queen Jack offsuit?
Crazy.
Rune F.
That was
Oh
really
my
fun.
goodness,
What?
Rune F,
Yeah,
you
no,
absolute
like-
psycho. Fucking deuces was the correct answer.
LOL,
with the
that's all I'm
deuce
gonna
of
say.
Hearts. Well, we completely failed in predicting this one.
Not this
Hopefully
stuff.
you
Alright, see you,
guys
man.
did a lot
See-
better than us.
see ya.
Take care.
Right. Elkie was waiting to come back to the final table.
Fedor holds stings. Oh my.
Michael Adamo is the best.